All right, what's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about some news about the future of The Walking Dead, and we've got a little bit of more information, not a whole lot of news. Excuse me. We got an episode rundown for episode 6, and we're going to speculate about what's to come. There's a lot of speculation to cover. Also, like outside of the Rick episode, the biggest episode The Walking Dead has probably ever had, and 3 words or less. Let's rate the episode.
Lydia, you can go first since you're just not coming back.
RJWTH. What the heck is going on?
What's going on? I'm gonna cut that. All right, guys, welcome to The Broken Dead. Thanks for tuning in. This is Dylan.
And I'm Lydia.
Oh, Quin.
Once again, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or wherever else I've found to upload this video to, or if you're listening as a podcaster, we appreciate you guys tuning in. And whether you're a new listener or you're from the States or international, we've got listeners in Tokyo, we've got listeners in Europe and the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've got listeners all over the place. Lots of listeners in Texas, some in Pennsylvania, Oregon.
Texas, that's
weird. Some crazy places. Tennessee, Kentucky.
Like we're judging now.
It's fine.
We got some from Arkansas. I don't know who those could be, but thanks for tuning in. You guys are our lifeblood. We wouldn't be here without you guys. We do this for you guys, and it's a lot of fun too. That's another reason we do it.
I was about to say, no, we really do it for us.
Yeah, but
still, we appreciate you.
Yes, we appreciate you guys listening. We probably wouldn't do it for very long unless somebody was actually listening. But anyways, also check out the website. That's www.broken.pictures.com. And you can check us out on social media, Facebook, Broken Pictures Social, Instagram, and Twitter at broken_social. And on Patreon, we're Broken Pictures. And also, more importantly than all that, if you would just like and share and tell your friends that are into The Walking Dead about our show, we'd appreciate that. That is what's really going to help us more than anything. And if you like the podcast, go subscribe, rate, and review, and we appreciate that. So, a couple special notes. Lydia is back. She's been in and out a couple weeks here. She's got some work stuff and then some wedding stuff going on.
Yeah, what you should do is here around noon, a place called Hers Bridal is going to post our picture on Facebook, and the more likes and shares that it gets, we have a chance to win like a wedding package thing, so you should do that. Yeah,
today is Tuesday, by the way. We film on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So if you're listening on Wednesday, Thursday, the rest of the week,
yeah, it's going all through November, so November's the end of it, so as many likes and shares.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate that. That would be awesome.
It'd be pretty cool.
Wish us well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you don't know us and you want to give us a wedding gift, that would be great.
Oh, yeah. Did anybody know that we're getting married?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Just if you didn't know.
Yeah, if you're new to the podcast, by the way, we're engaged. Not me and Quin, me and Lydia. So, another thing that happened outside of me and Lydia is the great Stan the Man passed away yesterday, which was Monday. And man, it's just it was one of those things we kind of saw coming, but it still had a huge impact.
It's really super surreal that
Yeah.
happen. Like you know, it's inevitable, but when it happens, you're like, you can't believe it.
Yeah, because he was such an icon. It was just like, it was just like Michael Jackson or Prince passing away to me. It was just like, this guy was such a huge influence in my life.
For generations of comic book readers and nerds alike, he was kind of like put on the pedestal. Mm-hmm. And the world has lost its truest believer.
Yep.
But here
Excelsior.
That got my heart. Oh, that was deep.
Excelsior.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
You can.
So, yeah, we're gonna move on from that if possible.
One day.
Yeah, it might take us a while, one day. And also another special note: if you were listening last week, you know that. If you're watching, you just saw me toss something on accident. Got caught in a cord. We are going to do, this is not a promotion for Entertainment Weekly, although I do like it. If Entertainment Weekly, if you want to sponsor us, we'd appreciate that. Just putting it out there.
We only have 1,012 of your magazines, every single issue.
But we're also a huge Game of Thrones fan. Game of Thrones only has one season left, so what we're going to do is just kick back, have a couple drinks, and enjoy it. And do a little we're going to podcast about that one.
We're probably going to whine a little during the show.
Yup. Yep, I'm going to drink and know things.
Clever. Spoiler alert.
All right, so spoiler alert, if you don't know already, we're going to speculate and get into some stuff. There's a couple things that we're going to talk about that are teasers from upcoming episodes, or maybe information that you maybe didn't know, but just be ready. Just spoilers from the comics, spoilers. That's like a mini spoiler.
It's a cuter one.
It's one that you just kind of like, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so we're talking about theories, speculation, all kinds of stuff. So just be warned. Spoiler warning alert. Bleep 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 bloop blop. Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah, there was no reaction to that. That's just Norm.
We're just letting him do his thing.
All right, so some Walking Dead news. We announced last week. We didn't announce it. We reported about a reporting last week that I don't have any insider information. We're on the outside looking in.
Just a tad.
Yeah, we're nowhere near Atlanta.
Hey, I've been there.
Yeah.
Does that count?
It's all hot and nasty.
Yeah.
That is true. And very dirty. Very dirty
Yeah.
place.
Maybe one day we'll make some connections and have some of the cast call in and stuff. That'll be
In
like
the
something to look
airport
forward to.
in Atlanta, I'm hardcore with my sunglasses on, just like looking for people like that I know or have seen on the show or something. One time, I'm not gonna lie, I thought I saw Abraham, but it was not. It was a woman. I apologize. I'm so sorry,
man.
ma'am.
Man.
I'm sorry.
Somebody needs a new haircut.
Well, the facial hair was kind of confusing.
Was it Deanna?
Deanna.
Who's
No, I'm just
Deanna?
kidding. She didn't have facial hair, but she was built much like Abraham.
Okay. So Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride have signed a 3-year, multi-million-dollar franchise contract with options to appear in spin-offs. And that just means that they can play inside of the greater Walking Dead universe that is going to take place with the upcoming Rick Grimes trilogy, and other, or not in the Rick Grimes trilogy. That's just one thing taking place inside the greater Walking Dead universe. But there will be other characters and other locations and characters we don't know, characters we've met in the past, and all this kind of stuff is what Scott Gimple, the head of the universe, said. Yeah. So look out for sightings of Daryl and Carol, and also Denai Guerrera is also working in talks for one of these deals. Because if you haven't noticed, we've got Carol, Daryl, and Michonne are kind of the pillars of the new Walking Dead going forward. And I'm digging it, to be honest with you. So she is also in talks, hasn't signed the deal yet because, I mean, she's got a lot going on with her career taking off right now. So that it's really just due to scheduling conflicts. It could take a while. We'll report on that when the news breaks. And also, this is just a side note that I saw on Twitter the other night. It was really cool. If you ever had any doubts about Andrew Lincoln and Norman Reedus' bromance, it's legit. Apparently, every day they ate in each other's trailer for lunch every day on set. But also, the last scene where Rick is up on the bridge and Daryl's just like, it just hits him that Rick is gone and you see him get crushed. During that scene, Andrew Lincoln was on set just out of frame, and between takes would come up and hug Norman Reedus and just like, because it was their last scene together. And
for the show.
Yeah, for the show.
It's not over yet.
Until Daryl shows up in a movie. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
I feel like he has to. Like, there's just no way that they cannot have him.
Of course, especially with this new contract he just signed. Like, it's inevitable.
So wait, I have a question then. So if it's only a 3-year contract, are they saying like the show's probably only gonna go blah blah blah? The show's probably only gonna go 3 more years, maybe, or
I think it's probably just testing the waters and see where it goes from there. Okay. Because I mean, shorter contract also frees them up to potentially, they're not tied down. They're more willing to sign something that's shorter rather than an 8-year contract like they did before. Especially as big as it is, and not knowing what's going to happen with the show post Rick and everything. So I mean, they're trying to do more, but I mean, for all we know, the show could just falter and get canceled.
Well, I also feel like the longer contracts leave less creative room for the people taking the direction of the show. Like, that makes them feel like they're obligated to keep them in any longer than they might want to. I feel like that frees them up a little creatively. If they were to write Norman Reedus out of the show, they've got a timeline for that. Is how I think about it.
True that. I put my first Twitter poll out on The Walking Dead. I just asked people what they thought. It said the options were great, okay, hated it, or didn't watch. And most people thought it was pretty great. Some thought it was okay. A couple said they didn't watch. And I think there was like one person that said that they hated it. So by and large, most people loved the episode. So was that you?
It was me. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't. It wasn't.
It would be.
It wasn't, but it would be.
That's funny. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast before this, and one of the Walker Stalker podcast did their last episode, and they had on like all the previous hosts that anybody that's ever hosted the show or before or whatever, and there goes Jan number 1.
I think that's number 2. I hit number 1 pretty good though.
So they had this one guy on who does his own podcast or whatever, and they just cover horror news outside of, hey, we got
Got somebody else joining in.
And so yeah, he was just like, man, I hated it, and I'm glad to see Punky Brewster is back on the air. I was like, wow, bro, like, he's hilarious, but it was just like, man, he really is not liking the new direction. And he was one of the few. So what did you guys think about the episode? What was your honest, like, a 1 to 10, or make up your own scale?
Well, let's do 1 to 10. I'll think of something next episode and it'll be funny. But 1 to 10, I'll give it a solid 8. It was good. Like, when I watched the episode, I watched it like it was a brand new show. Like, I've never seen The Walking Dead before. And, like, I kind of zoned in as, like, Magna and her group kind of being the main characters. And it was a different feel to it. It was like really watching a whole new show. And like, if I pretended I didn't know how they got to this point, I'll be like, I'm kind of interested to see where everybody goes and learn a little bit more about everyone, of who they are now. Because everyone as they are now are completely different people from what we used to know them as.
Yeah, there's so much has happened in between.
Yeah. I would rate it on a scale of 1 to Dale's death, Glenn, as painful. Like, can you imagine how painful their deaths both were? Like,
yeah,
that was my scale. Anyway, I'm really upset that y'all didn't. No, it was painful to watch.
Bad? Really?
Yeah, I did not like it that much. My reasoning behind that is seeing such strong characters take a hit like Rick dying in the apocalypse and it affecting them so drastically 6 years later. I can understand Michonne, like, you have a child with someone who passed away, like, that you think, you don't even know. Actually, you believe he's still alive. Like, it just was really conflicting. And I thought it was painful to watch, but I did enjoy watching Carol be Carol. So I did like that. I felt like it was going lots of places and nowhere all at the same time. It was very slow building for me. I didn't care for it as much as I've cared for, as much as I've liked the other episodes in this season. I didn't love it.
Wow, we could not be on more different pages. Like I
feel like I should just leave. No. This is awkward.
No, we need that, as you know, because we'll just sit here and fanboy out on stuff. We need like the reality. You're my Carol to my Ezekiel.
All right.
Are you just still salty about that though?
Yeah, I know. Truly, what
Like,
ruined
really?
the entire episode for me was Father
first
Gabriel
scene.
and Rosita.
Oh, yeah.
I can't get past it.
Yeah, there's some
I
bad
hate
shipping
you all
going
for
on.
that. Like, please stop doing this to me. I'm dead inside.
Joking when I said to bring on the weird couples, but
You took it a little too literal.
that was like Gabriel and Rosita.
That was left field, man.
Too much.
Yeah, and you know that they, like, I thought, like, when she leaned over and
Yeah,
gave
oh,
him
yeah,
the sweet
yeah.
eyes, I was like, oh no.
I felt it coming. Like, as soon as she walked in, I knew what was going on. But I still wanted them to not do it.
Yeah.
And then to turn around and know that Eugene has feelings for Rosita. And
So-
like,
Yeah,
she's like, don't make it weird.
They're completely toying with comic book fans.
I really just, it's bothersome.
But I think it's kind of funny, though, to be honest with you, because they're like, we know you want this, but we're not going to make it easy. We're going to make you earn it.
No, they're not even going to make us earn it. They are going to, you think that they're going to turn around and Rosita is going to get with Eugene after just being with Father Gabriel?
I don't know. I mean, Rosita is obviously attracted to men of power because Gabriel is like the chairperson of the council and everything.
But the preacher, Rosita.
Yeah.
The preacher.
But he's Gabriel. He's not just any old preacher.
Father Abraham was trying to have many sons, okay? I'm really confused with why she just skipped on over Father Gabriel, Father Abraham. I guess it works. I don't know.
Yep. So, but what I'm wondering is are they trying to make pancakes?
I really don't. I really hope nobody's pouring any Bisquick.
All right. So what I'm sorry. I love the episode. I thought it was a solid 8. It wasn't like one of the best, but it was one of the most important, at least. And I enjoyed just the wonder of like reintroducing these characters and seeing them again for the first time, because they're in whole completely different places, and the mystery is back and it's new, and it's like literally a sequel to The Walking Dead.
I can see that. I'm loving the new hairstyles, the new adaptations we've seen for people.
Yeah, for real. As far as like the characters having trouble moving on from Rick, I think Michonne and Daryl, I think it makes sense for them to be struggling the most. It seems like everybody else has moved on just fine and grown, and the communities are doing great on their own, of course. Yeah. Ish.
We didn't even really see any other communities. We only saw Alexandria and the Kingdom.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, yeah.
We have no clue about Oceanside.
That's true.
Nobody even mentioned them.
If they're even a thing anymore. They just, like, got washed
Killed the
away.
saviors and we're done.
Yeah. Anyways, so I think it makes sense for Michonne to still, like you said, still be not necessarily pining over Rick, but still affected and in mourning. And 6
But
years
that's the
is a
confusing
long
thing,
time,
is she's not
though.
even in mourning though. Like she still believes he's out there and alive. Like
Yeah, and I think
so.
and
That to me
Rick-
was conflicting.
I think Daryl does too, and I think and I'm going to talk more about this later, but I think because of some teasers, I think Daryl does too, and
Yeah, probably.
he's actually that's why he's not come back, is because he's still looking.
I will say something about that later if y'all
Yeah.
remind me.
Okay. All right. So, that's our ratings, and so one segment that we thought we were done with, or I thought we were done with, was the Rick Maggie countdown, because. I'm just going to go ahead and do it because we were supposed to get 6 episodes with Rick and Maggie, and we got cheated.
We don't know that there's not one episode left with Maggie. They did not say that it had to be
Yeah.
consecutive.
That's true.
They said 6 episodes with Maggie.
And 6 with Rick, but Rick is obviously gone. But unless they do a flashback, I just think that's cheating. But technically, there is still a Rick Grimes on the show.
There is.
There is. So, switcheroo once again. He's like, aha, we got you.
Yeah. But
Everybody's gotta have an
At the
aha
end of
moment.
this past episode, they said when they were taking everyone to the hilltop, they were like, she. I'm assuming they're still talking about Maggie. but-
Yeah, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But yeah, that's a big mystery. The who's the she. Lydia's got a couple ideas on that too. But anyway, for this Rick Maggie countdown, last week Quin and I gave our goodbye to Rick, just our favorite moment we could think of throughout the series. Is there one that pops up in your mind where you can just think, this is my favorite Rick moment?
Wow, putting me really on the spot there.
Except that you saw the notes beforehand. just go right ahead.
Daggers.
Let it flow.
Can you edit daggers into it?
Like Roger Rabbit.
Favorite Rick moment, I would have to say that the first thing that pops in my head is the episode where Negan is, can you see my shirt? I'm wearing my Negan skull shirt. Negan and Rick have the camper scene where Negan is in the camper and he throws Rick out and he's like throws his hatchet out or whatever, machete, what is?
Yes, hatchet like up
Hatchet.
on top of the...
Yeah, and he's got to go get it and stuff. That was, to me, very old season Rick, where he's just like gotta handle stuff. I didn't like that particular episode and how it was shot and things like that, but I did like seeing that Rick where he just was really purposeful and really driven. I like that Rick. So it's a Rick moment for me, but I'm not gonna say goodbye because he's not gone. So
Yeah, well, goodbye from the show.
bye from the show, Rick.
For now.
Okay. Then
Well, because they said if they can make it happen based on schedules and actors, that kind of stuff, they fully intend to reunite Rick and Michonne.
Oh, he's
Forever?
No, I don't know, but at some point.
In the show, in the movie?
Yeah, they didn't say.
And then kill one of them for real.
Probably.
Probably.
Like, I need to know that Rick is going to see his son. Like,
Well,
I
if
need
he-
to
I
know
assume-
that he's going to know that he has a son.
Yeah. If he sees Michonne, surely, like, they're reuniting, she would be like, you have a son.
Well, duh, but I'm saying, like, I need to know that that's going to happen, that that's in the future.
Yeah. That I mean, AMC is good at leaking stuff. Like, hey, here comes an episode where Rick's gonna potentially die, or here comes an episode where it's gonna be Maggie's last episode. It's like, come on, bruh. It's like your worst friend that goes sees the movie, or your best friend, the worst best friend that goes sees the movie before you and then spoils everything right before you go see it. I'm sure you don't know anybody like that. I always do that to. Well, no, I think I do that to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You normally
'Cause
do.
I do that to my brother Billy too, and he like every time I start talking about a movie, he's like, "Don't spoil it."
But whenever Dylan does it, he will like tell me really, really important things about it that I didn't know, and I'm like, I didn't even know that that's what it was about, and he's like, oh, I didn't know that you were gonna watch it. Just like, never in my life was I ever going to watch that movie. I'm about to be married to a giant movie buff, and I never was going to see that movie. Like,
Yeah. List as long as your arm of movies that you were never going to see before we got together, and now you've seen.
all of them.
Mm.
The list has moved on to my leg. Like, we're through the arm ones already. For the first 3 years of us being together, we watched a movie at least 3 times a week. I almost said a night.
Yeah, almost every night.
Yeah.
Watched a new movie. Yeah, like she wasn't into The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones or any of that before we got together. And
Nope.
it was a treat for me because I got to rewatch the series.
In fairness, I didn't have television, so I only watched movies for 2 years previous to us
and
getting
now
together.
you're on a podcast about a show.
Yeah,
about
isn't that
television.
crazy?
Yeah.
Wow, life is funny.
Oh, also, Ghost is joining us again. I don't know if you can see his little nose peeking up here. So if you hear any extra noises or whatever, that's probably just Ghost bumping into stuff, being curious. My dog. So Quin, what is this mysterious item that you've brought us today for show and tell?
Well, it's not so mysterious, but it is my Super Smash title belt, but it has seen like the better days because it's all like raggedy. And I'm going to buy a new one. And, once again, I have a challenge to the world. Well, not me, the other me, but that's a whole nother thing. I have a challenge to the world on December 7th. When the game comes out, I will face anyone who can actually manage to somehow beat me will win this title. But you won't, so it's fine.
Boom. That's hardcore right there. Like I think somebody needs to answer that.
Some people have
Pick up
already
the phone.
You
on
do
that.
realize that we have listeners in Tokyo, like
Yeah, like
one of the gaming capitals of the world.
Yeah.
if one of them answers the call, I'm not gonna win.
Hey, no, we believe in you. You got this.
He'll be having a cell phone in one hand and beating you with the other.
He's also inventing an app while he's playing.
Or she.
Hey, yeah, I'm not trying to judge.
Yeah. I don't know why. Every time I picture like the modern Japanese citizen, it's always like
A 10-year-old.
Hold-
girl.
yeah, it's always a teenage
It's about to be something
Japanese
super
girl.
racist.
No. That this just like better at everything that has to do with technology than everybody else.
Anime will
yeah.
do that to you.
I feel like that's fair.
Yeah. Just like people probably picture Americans as cowboys.
Or fat.
Yeah.
Fat
Like-
cowboys.
I like mayonnaise with
cowboys.
my French fries.
Ugh, yuck.
Agreed. That's disgusting. Mayonnaise and French fries.
Yeah.
Okay, Michaela
Europeans-
Stockbridge. Oh,
You're-
she's Garrett now, but
Oh yeah.
she eats her French fries with mayonnaise.
Yeah, Europeans love mayonnaise with French fries. I don't know why.
Ugh.
It's weird. But yeah, also
Anyway.
apparently Texans also.
That
Anyways,
explains
yeah.
a lot.
That explains our watchers. We're about to lose all of our Texas followers.
Sorry, Texas.
We still love you guys.
Yeah,
But
maybe you know somebody. Maybe it's good. Let us know. Comments.
just real quick though, the Texas State Fair is literally the best / worst place on the planet.
Really?
Yes, like you can get literally, and I mean literally anything fried. Name something.
Wow.
Bananas.
Yes, ice cream.
Oreos.
Pop Rocks.
I have had
Yeah.
fried Oreos.
Fried pop.
That's like an explosion waiting to happen. Pop Rocks are over here just like,
dared me.
why? Why would you ever do
You
this?
dared me and I answered.
About the episode, though.
Speaking of candy, Reese's, if you want to sponsor us, we'd appreciate that. See the gentle nod. We are huge fans of Reese's peanut butter cups. But yeah, we're not being sponsored by Reese's. We're just giving Reese's a shout out.
And I happen to have a cup.
Yeah. He actually brought it, and I was like, ooh.
I love how every time I'm like, but back to the episode, you're just like, no, not yet.
No, rabbits.
I told him I was going to get a button like the easy staple button that, like, Staples, if you want to create me a button and it says rabbit hole, I'm just going to punch it. all the time whenever we get into a rabbit hole.
That would be great if there was like a pop-up rabbit. It was like.
I would never. Why would I shoot it? I can just bop him on the head.
Oh, yeah, that'd be better.
Just cold-blooded murder every time you get into a rabbit trail. That poor rabbit would be actually dead.
This is a podcast about horror shows, so we probably need it for other shows, though. So it could be universal.
I feel like I just need it for life.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're actually going to get into the episode now. Quinn, if you could lend your movie voice and read us the title and description.
Yeah, which one's the description? Okay, yeah. Oh,
he's wearing his glasses this time.
I am wearing my glasses.
Not that mask from last week. That was great, by the way. Sorry.
Stop making him laugh.
Okay. Who are you now? The survivors encounter unfamiliar faces outside the safety of their community walls, and must decide whether to. Oh my God. There's not a two there. Whether or not these new. Okay, I'm gonna start over. Okay. Who are you now? The survivors encounter unfamiliar faces outside the safety of their community walls, and must decide whether or not this new group can be trusted. When we last left The Walking Dead, Rick made it out. I can't do this. You do this.
That was a valiant effort, though. Okay. The voice is on par. You'll get it.
I'll get it. It's not today.
All right. So when we last left The Walking Dead, Rick made it to the bridge only to find he had been blown up.
You can't even do it.
And I wrote the thing.
Can I just read it normally?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to let you read it.
So Rick made it to the bridge only to find he had to blow it up to save the communities from a walker super herd, apparently killing himself in the blast. Unknown to them, he was rescued by Jadis and flown away to an unknown location on a helicopter. After a sudden 6-year time jump, we meet a preteen Judith rescuing a new group.
Bum, bum, bum. And we're caught up. So if you if you want to tune out now, it's a good time. But please don't.
Write that?
I did.
Okay, I'm going to start writing that portion of it. Your verbiage is really hard to read.
Yeah, this one was a little bit more difficult because so much happened. Like right now, because like the series is like turning over, there's just so much to explain and so much going on. I feel like I need to explain. All right, so get into the episode highlights. We start out, we're catching up with the crew. Michonne is still processing her loss of Rick, even though Lori moved on months, a couple months, like 2-3 months, 4 months after Rick was supposedly dead with his best friend.
Like, I feel like it could not have even been months.
I feel like they were probably sleeping around beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Like, while he was alive and not shot.
Yeah, she just needed a reason.
Yeah.
So, shade thrown, get you a Michonne, not a Lori.
That was clever. I'm not gonna lie, that was clever.
I saw that on Twitter.
Oh, it wasn't even yours.
I gotta give credit where credit's due.
After the fact.
Well, I took Gary V's advice, and I went after the episode. I went on YouTube and just followed, or not YouTube. I went on Twitter and followed all the Walking Dead hashtags and just went through and tried to comment and look through it. And there was some really good stuff in there. So anyways, so she says that she hasn't given up. She never will. Assuming that since his body hasn't been recovered, that we're assuming that she's talking about her search for him, that she's never going to give up looking. One of the missable detail is that she's got some gray hairs there now. She's got some, like Ezekiel's beard, it's got some gray in it. Like her hair's got some gray in it now. And Judith isn't the only one that's aged. Looks like they're all barely hanging on emotionally, except for the kingdom. They're like hanging on physically. They're emotionally, they're doing great. And, but it seems, excuse me.
I feel like it's not fair to say that emotionally they're doing great at the kingdom when Carol just burns some people alive.
That's just Carol.
Well, that's just Carol. Just in general, like they're just living
Carol.
life. And
like we're so
things are falling down
accepting of it.
around
We're
them.
actually like liking it. Like, yes, Carol burned some more people. Thank you. Like, what the heck?
Like ever since
Well,
the
yeah.
prison, her burning people's kind of like her thing.
Yeah.
Getting
yeah.
her exiled? Yeah, yeah. What do
I wonder
you
what
think
Ezekiel
King
would think.
Ezekiel thinks?
Yeah.
Bruh.
My
Why
bad.
you be stealing my words? Just listen. Literally trying to say that.
My bad. Yeah. My bad, boy. I don't
Please
know why
don't.
I did that. Like these movie references always flow through my mind. Anyways, so yeah, but yeah, I thought it was a nice contrast where in Alexandria, physically everything is new and built up, but emotionally they're still like they're struggling. But then the kingdom, physically they're falling apart, but emotionally they seem to be doing fine, just living their lives.
Yeah, everybody's well except Henry. He's just kind of frustrated with certain things.
Yeah.
Angsty teenage boy, you
Yeah.
know, living through the apocalypse. What
Yup.
can you do?
Want to be a hero.
And another missable detail, when she goes and finds the cowboy toy that resembles Rick, that's basically the same pose from the season 3 poster where Rick is standing on the bus at the prison. And some of the items in the box, excuse me, allude to they're an Easter egg for To Kill a Mockingbird.
No, they were inspired by To Kill a
No,
Mockingbird.
actually, I went and looked up the opening credits for To Kill a Mockingbird, the 1962 film, and it's like almost the same exact. Yeah, I mean, it's literally a cigar box with items in it. It's almost the same items that are in the box.
But an Easter egg alludes that there's some form of greater connection.
Well, actually, there is. So
now that you mention it,
yeah, as if you don't have the notes right in front of you. Thanks for
I'm
setting
not
me up.
reading that far ahead. Like I'm literally reading what we're on.
Thanks for the segue, though. To Kill a Mockingbird, I didn't read this one in high school, so I vaguely know about it.
Please don't spoil it though, because I do plan to watch it.
Okay, well, this, just in general,
pay for that.
the story is about judgment and justice, told from the point of view of a young tomboy girl who lives with her brother and her widowed father. She gets good advice from a weird neighbor, Boo Radley, and she scoffs at the advice at the neighbor. So that's kind of like the Negan giving her advice thing, and you've got Judith that lives with RJ and her widowed mom. So there's and the whole bringing the new people in, you know, for judgment and judging others based on their outward appearance and that type of thing. It's a big
Jeez.
cultural book about race in the 1960s. It is.
Well, now I just
You
say
didn't
that,
read it,
it's-
so don't.
Well, I mean,
feel like
it's a
it's a
huge
good book.
reference. I've always heard of it, but I've never read it.
Well,
I've always heard it referenced too.
Well, now I just say it like this episode kind of was a To Kill a Mockingbird episode.
Have you seen it?
I've seen the movie and
Which movie?
the 62 film.
Not the McConaughey one.
There's another one.
Yeah, there's McConaughey's like big break.
Oh no!
He's just like, why in the world would I ever watch that? I saw Mud and that was enough McConaughey. I needed.
Well, I mean, the 62 film was pretty great, but I heard the McConaughey one was all right. On the
Did
spot.
you only bring it up for that reason? I feel
No,
like
I
you
did
did. Okay.
Oh, man.
Please don't start doing that. Please don't. You can stop.
All right, so Daryl is out on his own. He's got a little glimpse of hope where he sees the birds and the nature taking over, just kind of defeating the walkers on its own. And then of course Carol and Ezekiel are ruling the kingdom together. They've got Prince Henry, but out of all that, I'm the happiest that Jerry is okay. because I was kind of worried with the firefight that Jerry would not make it because he was one of the first people to pull a gun. So I'm glad to see that Jerry's okay.
I'm still upset that they haven't shown Alden. Like, he's turning into a... What's the one dude who's gone and we haven't seen him? Heath, like, he's turning into that. Like,
yeah, I've got some information about Heath, too.
What?
That I'm going to get into here.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm holding out on you.
All right. They talk about... the quote on the wall was, "At times we crack only to let the light in."
Yep, and that is basically... people always ask me, well, what's Broken Pictures? What is that about? Well, that's basically like that quote. Like, there's a quote floating around the internet that is always attributed to different people, Ernest Hemingway, but it doesn't. There's not really like a solid origin. But anyways, because I looked it up. But anyways, that's basically what Broken Pictures is about. Is that the cracks and the hard times in our lives is what makes us stronger. So, anyways,
Or let the light in.
Yep, exactly.
The note says Carol sees a flower growing up through the concrete and apparently remembers all the people she made look at the flowers.
That was her little
I'm dead.
spark of hope. Like,
yes, I'm going to go murder some people. Let me go light some people on fire after this flower.
Carol looks at the flower.
His eyes, if you didn't catch that.
Crazy eyes.
Otherwise asleep.
So another missable detail is, with Michonne is that she's packing some toilet paper on her horse.
No, I super saw that.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I love to read, but I always hate. I'm one of those weird people that hate that the little details about like actually going to the bathroom and like how you poop in the apocalypse, you know, like I like those details weirdly enough. So I loved that there was actual toilet paper that she was carrying. A little bit aggravated that after how many years
it was pristine.
Not that it was pristine. First, no one else took it. And second of all, the plastic was still perfectly fine. Like, what are you doing to our planet?
Maybe it was like some of Alexandria's old reserves, and she just took it out there with her because she had to go. Really
all
bad.
of it.
She just had to
2
go.
packs.
Maybe she's like she has like an outhouse.
What if
out
she's
there.
afraid she'll get trapped out there?
I she got it from a car.
She definitely got it from the car.
Yeah,
no, she definitely
did. We're just teasing.
She for sure took it from Georgie's car. It looked like Georgie's van. I kept saying that, but I know that it's not. But it looked like it.
Yeah. All right. So we also see that the bridge is still destroyed. After 6 years, they have not ever tried to like, hey, you know what? We should probably fix this.
Further distancing the hilltop from them. Like, no one wants to bridge that gap because they know what Maggie's about, is how I took it. Like, hey, she hung Gregory and we're still not over that, so we're not about the bridge.
Yeah, well, except for the closure that she got with Negan last episode, I would think that Michonne would realize that, but
that's the thing, like, she didn't get closure. She didn't not kill him because she couldn't. She saw that it was worse punishment than actually killing him. Like, to me, that's not closure. She just changed her form of torture.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I the way I took it is that, like, she kind of she found out that Rick was right and that imprisoning him would be the best option. That it was kind of a win-win, but she didn't realize it until she saw it.
But that's not closure.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, you can't really get closure from something that huge, but
yeah. I mean, even still, though, I don't know. Like, it feels like the bridge being out isn't the only thing that kept them apart. Because, I mean, they can still get to the other communities. It just takes longer.
Right.
Yeah, and they're not even interested.
Yeah.
In trying to build the bridge back. So there's obviously.
And Ezekiel, he's talking about, before the fair and everything, he wants to bring all the communities back together and actually be what they once were. So something else happened.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I think they're alluding to that, and we'll get into that as it pops up throughout the episode. But another missable detail at the opening credits, this was the first opening credits that did not feature the name Andrew Lincoln. in Walking Dead history.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did not notice that.
I didn't either, but
How
I
sad.
saw it somewhere. I'm good at picking up on other people's things and taking credit for it. No, actually, I always give credit. Anyways, so one thing I did notice myself is that because now I'm looking for little Easter eggs in the opening credits since I noticed, like there's the noose on the barn for Gregory, and then there's where it shows Rick's revolver and Negan's bat together, like in the ground or on the ground or whatever, kind of like at rest, I guess. And then there's Rick and Michonne on the horses, and when they rear up and come back down, it looks like Rick kind of like is holding his side. And so now I'm looking for stuff, right? And it looks like the very last instance when they sweep, when they zoom out from that walker's eyes, and they turn around him, and there's all those other walkers behind him. They're all like green and black and gray, and there's like one or two that are red. So that's like they're different. And so I thought maybe that was like a Whisperers reference, that they're not what they seem.
Has to be that, or if they don't do Whisperers, which I'm really hoping they're not, but we all know what's coming. They're just weird mutant zombies, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah. You said you're hoping that they don't do the Whisperers?
I kind of want the walkers to actually, evolve.
Oh, really?
And
What?
be something else. Like, if they do the Whisperers, that's fine. It's going to be a good storyline, but if we have, actual mutated walkers around here...
Like Umbrella Company?
Yeah,
Evil stuff?
let's just get weird. But
you said bring on the weird relationships, and you regretted it, so...
I did.
Just you mentioning the Redwalkers, to me, I thought of heat signature and red being hot, and I don't know.
Yeah, because they're real people instead of dead people.
Maybe so. I don't know. Is it even how heat signatures work? Is red hot? I don't know. I don't know. Just a guess.
It just makes sense. I don't know. So, that's what I noticed in the thing.
The fact that we're not even on number 3 yet.
That's not. Shh. Just we're gonna lull them into this.
No.
don't bring it to their attention.
I'm bringing it to your attention.
All right. So we see Rosita and Eugene carrying. Eugene's carrying a dead deer. So Eugene is obviously from the get different.
Bro, he threw that deer down and said,
Yeah,
all right,
he did.
I got this.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we also see Aaron and Laura, neck tattoo, barcode.
That was a good book. The barcode tattoo. I read that book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Legitimate book.
That might be a reference. I don't know. Yeah, she's the one that outed Dwight, made her point to come back so that she could out Dwight. And Lydia called it from day one.
Yeah, that's true.
So then they're searching for Judith. They find the new group, and they reluctantly let them come back with them. And we immediately see that Eugene is not the same Eugene. There's some walkers, and he whips out his knife, throws his ponytail behind.
It's not a ponytail. It's a braid.
Well, his braid. He whips his braid behind him and just goes to town. And, takes out several walkers, and it's just whoa! I'm really digging this new Eugene.
And then the dummy falls from the thing. Why didn't you just be like, hey, Rosita, can you come get this ladder?
Also, yeah, just there's just enough to where it's
y'all still
Eugene
stupid.
is changing, but he's still Eugene because he also let it slip that they're a bigger community.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh.
You shouldn't have said that.
Stew for the masses. You guys are a part of a bigger group. Oh.
They understood my lingo.
Wait, you understand me? It's been so long.
Are you from Texas? I'm sorry. I'm not hating on Texas.
Apparently you are.
I lived in
The whole
Texas for almost 2 years.
We're sorry, Texas.
All right, so...
Carol's queen.
Carol is queen. You want to take that one?
Nope.
So the king, we've already covered this. Kingdom's falling apart. Nothing else matters. Jerry's okay. Henry's the prince. Trying to fix some pipes. Gets checked by Dad Mufasa.
Everything the light touches. No.
Yeah.
I felt like I tried to make a connection between Carol and the pipe. they only put a patch on it. Like, that's not going to hold forever. I feel like in some way that's significant of Carol. Like, we've only put a patch on Deep Down Dark Carol with King Ezekiel and things like that. And I think we saw that with the fire. That was her pipe bursting. Like, that was her letting the bad out. And we're just patching it time and time again. We're just patching it.
Interesting.
I kind of felt like there had to be more than just, oh, the kingdom's falling apart.
I like that. Yeah, that
was good.
Thanks.
yeah. Brought to you by Lid Pid. All right, so
we have a comic Easter egg.
we
Yeah.
do. And you wanna take that one since you're the comic expert?
So in the comics, well, since Henry's guessing getting older, Carl's a good bulk of his storyline. In the comics, Carl and Rick get into it about, they're needing a new blacksmith and someone who can work metal for Alexandria. And
Rick says, "Watch your tone."
Pretty much.
Appreciate your
but
passion.
after convincing his dad, Carl goes and trains with Earl at the hilltop and becomes a blacksmith, and all that happens right before the Whisperer's War.
Bum bum bum.
So on here it says the fair. Like, y'all keep alluding to the fair being some big deal. I don't know what that is.
I don't know, but I know just from reading comments that the fair is a big deal. Like, people are just like, "Oh, they
Just
said the
from
fair."
watching this show, like, I can tell that, like, they're like, the fair.
Yeah, and
fair's
like
coming.
the sneak peek that I did, like, skim through in the store. What? Red Wedding. Oh my gosh. Oh, The Walking Dead is about to have its own Red Wedding.
Spoilers for Game of Thrones, so watch out.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Yeah, like, I just got so scared and excited at the same time. I almost wet myself.
Why you have to take it there? Why you keep putting King Ezekiel? I'm done.
Key.
There's Key.
Okay.
I'm extra dumb.
It's K-E in the notes. She's pronouncing it Key.
The king got stuck in my head after I said that. Bruh, stupid.
Oh, man. Anyways, let's see. Ezekiel says the hilltop has been especially distant since ... Like, they keep alluding to something that happened. And, like, is he alluding? At first, it's like, okay, was he talking about Rick's exit? Or is he talking about something happened with Maggie's exit? But as the story goes on, other people keep, like, alluding, like, stopping short of saying what it was. So I think that there's something else that happened, something big that caused them to get stuck and not grow, like these certain characters.
I think it has to do with the X on Michonne's back.
Yup, that's a X marks the spot.
Just saying. That's just my saying.
Yep.
Could have Maggie tried to kill Michonne?
Very possible. And now Maggie has been.
Exiled.
Yep.
It's exiled.
No, when I first saw it, I was like, why is somebody donating kidneys in the apocalypse? That's what I thought.
I was like, that's not how you have a C-section. They don't go through the back.
Dang it, Enid.
Enid. Sounded like you said Eden.
Yeah, Enid. And then at that point, Aaron realizes, I didn't have to lose my arm, did I?
Speaking of, we have not seen his lack of an arm. Like,
Yeah, we
it
saw
just
it
super
briefly.
zoomed on up.
Briefly.
That was the teaser, though. Like, they didn't show
No,
it.
this
yeah,
episode, they
showed an episode.
showed
Really?
it like a little bit. It's almost like a
Didn't
like a
even realize.
steampunk looking.
Yeah, it's like a metal arm that goes like up to here.
What?
I don't know if the fingers or anything moves, but that's the resting hold for it. Like,
I'm
oh.
gonna
Yeah.
have to watch that again because I did not catch that.
And
I guess I was too distracted by Ross Macron's face. It's pretty attractive.
His amazing beard. It didn't stand out to me as being like bigger than his hand, so it didn't look like they had just put on a giant glove, even though they probably did. So they did it well, I think. Or maybe he just has lady fingers, and it just looks like an actual size hand. I don't know.
I don't think it's a glove. They probably like made like a mold and had it perfectly fit him like a glove, but not like.
Like a sleeve type thing
Yeah.
that looks really fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, with Nicotero, surely they come up with something that was better than the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yo-yo arms.
all right.
It was pretty bad. Next up is Magnus group arrives at Alexandria, and I think last week I was like, oh, in the teaser they walked in without the bags on their head, but they took the bags off before they came in. Obviously. So they remind me a lot of Rick's group, like when they first got to Alexandria.
Oh yeah, because it's got that murderous intent in her eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Magna is a lot like Rick.
Yeah, and I feel like they were alluding to that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny how just the change of perspective that now we're on the inside looking out instead of the outside looking in. Whereas before we were just like, yeah, we can take Alexandria. And now we're just like, no, don't. She's a bad guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and they said that they've been through some pretty bad communities like Jones Springs and Coalport. Is that an Easter egg for anywhere?
In the comics, you hear the names, but you don't see them, which might mean there might be some backstories or flashbacks coming. I remember one kind of being a cannibalistic community as well.
Like Terminus?
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Like, did they just rename them when the other people got here in case somebody had heard of it? Like, oh, they've heard of Terminus. Let's rename. Let's regroup.
That would be hilarious.
Get back together.
And also it might have been something, because even in the video games they have for The Walking Dead, they have a lot of like things that are in there that they'll mention in other places.
So like cross-pollinating.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. So then we get a shot of Alexandria, and the new church is built that we saw Michonne looking at the plans last week.
I would hope so. It's been 6 years.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought that it wasn't all the way done. I was like, good gravy, what have they been doing?
Whatever happened since blank. And so the windmill is also finished, which is a big deal. That was, they said it would help with the crows, with the crops and stuff like that. Everybody comes out to meet them because apparently they don't get visitors very often.
No, everybody came out to kill them. Like they were smooth, ready to just like, all right, who we got to kill. Mm-hmm. That was fun.
Gracie, Daddy, you're home.
Gracie, stay back.
Yeah. And so that was pretty cute.
My heart. It's so sweet.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, there's so many references to children in this one. It's just like they're building on the next generation. Mm-hmm. So then we see another reformed savior with Siddiq. That I guess he's like Siddiq's security for the hospital or something. I don't know, but he's always with Siddiq. And they arrive to take care of the new group. And Michonne rides up. Eugene, Aaron, and Judith vouch for the new group. And Michonne says it's against the rules. Aaron and Gabriel said that they should put it to a council. And they're as much as Michonne pushes, they push back. Especially Gabriel. Gabriel really just like, hey, we're going to vote on it tomorrow. And she's like, okay. and this council that she probably created is putting her in check. So that's
which is exactly what it's meant to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
It's good to see that they, finally went ahead and got their laws and everything together. Mm-hmm. And so they're not all hail King Rick anymore.
Yeah, and good to see that she respects it, even though she could...
Doesn't agree.
Yeah, she could probably just overthrow it if she wanted to and just take over and be the Michonne-tatorship. I don't know if that works, but Michonne-tarian? Anyways.
Nope.
There's something out there. We'll figure it out later. And so they lock him up until morning. Michonne throws her bag or whatever, the cowboy toy falls out, and Judith finds it. Then we go back to King Ezekiel, and he's seeing Carol and Henry off to go to the hilltop. He's finally agreed that, Henry should go learn how to take care of things. And gives him a hug for the boy and a handshake for the man. And, he's a good dad, man. He's a good dad. I like it. He's good Mufasa. And
Because of what's going to happen. Please do not.
Oh, there's so many more like layers there. And him and Carol have a conversation about dreamers and realists and matchmaking for Henry at the hilltop. So maybe that's the Lydia connection.
We'll see if she runs away. But she hasn't appeared yet. We don't know if we're fighting the Whisperers. I'm still holding until someone says Whisperers. I am holding out for mutant zombies.
Angela King said Whisperers. So.
Oh. Well.
Oh crap! I kind of wish that it was a little bit of both. Like it would that way they could go multiple areas.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be interesting. Lydia's looking at her phone right now.
Sorry.
Called you out. I'm just teasing. So anyway, we see the Alexandria Council, and Gabriel says, you know, we're a fair community, but we're not soft, and which is nice. We've got Gabriel, Aaron, Michonne, Sadiq, Laura, who is Savior Barcode, and then Nora from last episode, who told Michonne that Negan wasn't eating, and then we have one unknown on the far left. And so Gabriel apparently is the chairman of the council, and Michonne is head of security. Not really sure about the other positions. Sadiq is probably over. She just read the notes in that joke.
I just caught the,
You just ruined my joke.
notes.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. So anyway, Sadiq is probably the head of medicine, and Aaron is probably over arms.
How messed up. Just straight harping on his pain.
It was too good.
Funny.
Too good. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, we know Gabriel's the chairman because he says the chair recognizes Michonne, Councilwoman Michonne, head of security. And I was like, dang, that's why Gabriel's kind of like taking the lead here, like talking like he's got some authority. Like
I'm a little worried that they're not at all interested in separation of church and state. Like,
yeah, apparently not.
just like
Not at all.
running it over here.
Yeah. Except that, yeah, I mean, right now they have a balanced preacher, but what happens when Gabriel exits and they have a different preacher?
Or what happens when he gets his heart broken by all of the people he's been seeing.
Exactly. And then suddenly Rosita is an outcast. And,
She gets exiled.
yeah. Because God said so.
Oh my gosh.
So many hard left turns.
Yep. Which is why church and state separation is important. So anyways, yeah.
Questions for new people.
Yep. So they're different than the original 3 questions, which I would have liked to see them stay.
Yeah, me too.
You know, at least have like a version of, and they kind of did a version, I guess. But I guess some of the questions, like who's the leader, I guess is just kind of like getting like, who do I talk to?
Except the fact that Magna's like, what makes you think we have one? And it's like, oh, so it's you.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Thanks for answering.
Gabriel's just kind of like, okay, yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm not dumb. Gabriel's got some wisdom, man. Like he's stepped up a lot. And so then he says, the original 3 questions, how many walkers have you killed? How many people and why? These new questions, who's the leader? Did you know each other before? It might just be quizzing them, and there's still 3 questions or whatever. And then who were you before? Who are you now? And what did you do to survive? So, I mean, they're kind of along the same lines, but maybe a little bit more attuned to how can you be useful in the community? Like, what did you do? We need a baker. You know, we need an undertaker. No, wait, that's Gabriel. Because of his hat.
And also because, you know, it's been a little bit over a decade in the apocalypse, I think. Yeah. And they've all done things to survive. Mm-hmm. They've had to kill countless numbers of walkers and make very questionable decisions for their livelihood to get to this point. Yeah. So, yeah.
I guess it's true. Like, if you think about it, I'm sure none of them would want to be asked those 3 questions, where in the beginning of the apocalypse, they didn't mind because it's like, oh, I've never killed a person. Mm-hmm. But now they've killed so many that they probably have lost count. You know, it's not like they're marking it up on their sleeves, like how many people they've killed or walkers or anything. It's like, how many walkers have you killed? Well, it's been a decade and I'm alive. So probably a lot.
That's true, but also even like Maggie, up until All Out War, I don't think she had killed a person.
Right. I mean, like Glenn went up until the satellites had never killed someone.
Yeah, and that really disturbed him, and that was huge. But I mean, like, who's that person now? I wonder.
In the group. Mm-hmm. I feel like so many of them have not killed anybody. Like there's probably a large majority that really hasn't gotten outside of the walls again, like, which is why they're training again, and they see the purpose of that.
Yeah, which is interesting because, like, and speaking of like callbacks to Carol in the prison, when she was teaching the kids at that point, everybody was still like, oh no, that's not okay, they're children. And she was like ahead of her time. You know, it's tough to be the person that sees around the corner, and you know, but now of course it's you know, that's just what you do. You know,
normal life.
Oh, sorry.
You know,
Sorry.
we've got Michonne teaching Judith, who's 10 or 11. Because I think like all the reports were saying that she was 10, like all the articles, but then Nicotero on Talking Dead last week said she was 11, so I don't know if that's just a mix-up.
Maybe
or
she
what.
just had a birthday. We don't know.
Hey, yeah, maybe that's it.
Very possible.
Happy birthday! This is Apocalypse. We don't do birthdays.
Carol made her cookies.
Oh, I'll make you some cookies if you don't bring more people into the. So, anyways, we see Luke, who seems to speak for them. He was a music teacher and used to dabble in the culinary arts, which might be a little Easter egg for Fantastic Beasts. That's where he's from.
Yeah.
His character was a baker, and also a little comic reference. Like, he's a comic character, and they're probably comic spoilers. They're probably building him up to kill him off at the fair incident, right?
Yeah, they're gonna get you to like him and get you like, oh my gosh, he's really funny. And then the second Alpha shows up, he's gonna have a very nasty death. So,
Yup. Ned Stark style. Ish.
Meaner.
Meaner. Oh wow. Okay. So
Ned Stark wasn't at the Red Wedding.
I know, but he was beheaded.
Okay. Thought you were trying to allude to that. Sorry. It's like he was not there. Did you even watch the show? So Connie was a journalist who, according to Kelly, put sleazeball politics behind bars.
Politicians. I said politics.
Ooh, wait, hold on.
I know. I was going to say something. I was like, nah, never mind. She just put the whole party.
They did remix one of the characters.
Okay.
Kelly is not a girl or that young. Kelly is a grown man. Still black, but like a grown man. Just imagine Tyrese, but not as buff.
Not as buff.
Heath.
Yes. Heath.
So, really interesting fact. I didn't catch in the episode that they're meant to be siblings. Like, I didn't catch that at all. So, as I watched The Talking Dead, they talked about how that they were siblings. Really interesting. And if you don't mind, I'm going to point it out.
Yeah, absolutely. This is your thing.
The actress that plays Connie she's deaf in real life, and the actress that plays Kelly is hard of hearing, and so they both know sign language. So it was it's just at home for them to sign to each other, and for that to be the translation that they have. So I loved that they used an actual deaf, someone from the actual deaf community to play a deaf character. Like, that's not something you have very often, and so I super respect AMC for doing that.
Yeah, and even Kelly is part of the deaf community as well. She's hard of hearing.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, I messed up. Sorry.
I said she's hard of hearing, so she knows ASL.
Oh, gotcha, yeah. And if you don't know, little Easter egg about, not Easter egg, I guess, I don't know, a little tidbit about Lydia. She's super fascinated with American Sign Language. That's like one of her personal goals, is to learn it.
I would love to be a translator for the show. That would be something that would be really cool.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't learned it, and I'm terrible at dedicating and putting myself to doing something, but I would love, it's on my bucket list.
Yeah. So then we also have Yumiko, who has the head wound, and she's a comic book character too, right?
Yep, and she's gonna play a super major role later on. But as she is right now, they're just still kind of. Really, the only one that didn't have trouble integrating into Alexandria is Magna, but they're not even going to be in Alexandria, so we'll see where their characters go, because obviously the story is going to be a bit different for them.
Yeah, and of course there's Bernie, who died yesterday. We didn't get to meet Bernie. So then, of course, Magna was a waitress. No, wait, she was a prisoner. And Michonne called her out and found her knife even, gave her opportunity. She gave it up. Then she tells the council that she remembers and to take their vote. So this is another alluding to a past incident that had a huge impact on the community. She said, I remember, and you do too, or something to that effect.
It might have not been something like involving the communities, but it might have been like them bringing, because Negan had the story about the stray dog, so they might have just brought in somebody that.
Yeah, but I feel like if it's that big a deal, then why? Like if it was something to do with bringing in strangers or whatever, then why wouldn't Judith know about it? Why wouldn't she be like?
Maybe it was just like one or two people.
Because she's just a kid and she don't care.
Like, why the heck is she out there anyway?
Except that she's a crack shot.
Well, and she's also, they lost her. They're walking around yelling, Judith, Judith, where's our 11-year-old daughter in the apocalypse?
Yeah.
Michonne, sorry, we lost Judith.
Yeah, they failed to mention that when they got back.
Yeah, like nobody's even worried. Like, hey, she brought him on her own. Like, we didn't even know. But I'm just going to have a little comment, okay? I don't normally try and pick apart the show on here because I know how much it means to some people. In Michonne's flashback, that girl had a cushy life. Okay, she's living in what looks like a super nice apartment. She's got super nice stuff. What in the world does Michonne know about prison?
Well, she
used to be a lawyer.
Yeah, she was a lawyer.
No joke. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Sorry. Can you cut
she
that?
She might have been a criminal
idiot now.
justice warrior.
But like, how did she see it under the glove? Like, why? Like, how did she know that?
She's probably seen it before with like people she either prosecuted against or for.
She just knew the gloves were covering it up.
She just kind of figured in her personality, and I'm pretty sure when she only patted down Magna, so she was like, this.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's fair. She just
her
judged her and was like, "You've been in prison, girl."
Yeah, she knew the tats and everything. Maybe, I don't know, on her chest.
The tats.
Yeah. Barcode is part of the council, so I mean, there's hope for Magna.
She knew something about Magna the second she like laid eyes on her, so she had her pay.
Yeah, and it was nice seeing
okay
it was nice seeing Michonne operate as almost like in a lawyer type function where she was building a case.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Can
I ask you something? Nope. Just straight walked out like she's owning the council. And so then we get to Lydia's favorite part. Rosita and Gabriel talking about the radio.
Disgusting.
So apparently it's been a while, and Gabriel used to call people on the radio. Michonne disapproves of it, and he hasn't. He kind of dusts it off, and then Rosita asked him about it and said maybe it's time. There's still time to change Michonne's mind about the new group, that they're new people, and he still believes in bringing people in and all this kind of stuff.
But the thing about it is that Gabriel knows that there are people out there with radios because he saw Ann/Jadis with the radio communicating with people. So like he knows, and he knows that they're within range. Like I don't understand why he gave up. Like why did he not tell everyone like, hey, Jadis escaped with some other people?
Maybe that's why Michonne is against it. She was like, dude, she tried to kill you, bro. And he's like, oh.
Oh, shoot, you right.
But I love her.
But what had happened was...
2 frogs on a log.
Right before she tried to croak him.
No.
That was a dad joke.
No, it was not at all.
So also we see Rosita giving Eugene not Eugene, we wish it was Eugene, giving Gabriel some goo eyes, and then just a big old smooch.
What is it about this preacher?
It's the milky eye, man.
It's the milky eye.
No, it's got to be the hat. Like, if anything, it's the hat.
Yeah. And like I said, I think Rosita is attracted to power because she was with Abraham, and he was just like the man in any situation. And now Gabriel is head of the council. So maybe she's just
aligning herself with power.
Yeah, maybe she's a gold digger.
She missed the window, broke.
Yeah. I wonder who Rosita was before the apocalypse. I want to see that now, like who she was before the apocalypse.
Well, she has a military background.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She was in the military. I forgot.
Yeah, she's a military background.
Yeah, that's why she's explosives.
She's following the leader. She's a follower.
Yeah. Thank you. That makes perfect sense.
I try.
She's also attracted to leadership. She respects it.
A little too much.
Yeah. So she volunteers to take Eugene to go out and boost the signal. And then we go back to Judith catching Michonne talk to Rick. And when she first, when we first watched it, she's talking about how, I could see how everything mattered and everything you did was for him. And I was like, oh, is she talking to the writers right now about Rick's plot armor? But actually, she's talking to Rick about how Rick protected Carl. And no matter what, Carl was number one, even though they were in the midst of all the communities and everything. And basically, she seems to be asking permission to be that for... She says, I need to be that for them. So there's like a little clue that there's more than Judith. And but because it was kind of like a kind of vague, it didn't really catch it until the second time around. And she also says, I know that it deviates from the plan, but you weren't there and he wasn't there, meaning Carl, when, and then Mom.
The floor creaks.
Judith. So she's just about to mention this event that caused her to deviate from the plan, and that I think that everyone has been talking about. I think it's probably the same event.
It might get revealed in the mid-season finale. We'll see.
Yeah, they're definitely building towards it. I like how the momentum is just rolling. How all this is building up, and they've got all these subplots going on.
Real quick, though, before we move on, with her doing this, if this is going to be like a regular thing, I hope she's talking to something of Rick's or Carl's and not just walking back and forth talking to herself like a crazy person. Because I know Michonne's still, still feeling that loss from her second family, but... Boy, dig out Carl's skull or something. Just don't be talking to yourself.
But
it's also dig out Carl's skull.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I'm just having some wine, RJ. Mama needs her wine. Okay, Mommy. I'm not hungry anymore. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You were gonna say something more important than that?
Oh, was I?
Well, okay, anyway, I don't know what you were going to say, but to me, like, it's so much better that it's cathartic. Like, she is using it therapeutically. Like, she is not envisioning... It's not like a Lori situation where she's actually seeing him. And I think if she took an inanimate object and... personified that, then that makes that dangerous. That makes her a crazy lady. But instead, like, she's talking, and because she believes that he's out there, like, to a certain extent, like, even when she said, like, I keep waiting to hear you, like, she's waiting for him to pop up in the background and just be like, wow, that was deep. Boo, I love you, or something like that. Like, she truly believes that, like, she's speaking things that one day he can hear, and I don't know, like, I talk to myself sometimes and it's cathartic. Like, I'm not like waiting, like, I'm not hearing a response, but hearing yourself say it helps you analyze it. I don't think it's dangerous at this point. Like, I think it's fine.
And what I was going to say, it really goes along with that too, is that we say 6 years is a long time, but when we think about how we found Michonne, what that effect of losing her first family had on her, like she went to a really dark place. And now, so, I mean, that is consistent with her character. Her family means so much to her, to where it is literally like a piece of her, and it changes her when they're not there, and it's taken from her, and she never got that closure with Rick and all that kind of stuff. All right, so I'm about to drop a theory bomb. I heard that I haven't heard, I didn't hear it until like right before we started shooting. And I immediately looked it up, and I only found one video on YouTube that was talking about it. So I don't know how legit it is, but it's very interesting.
And we haven't heard it.
Yeah.
Quinn and I haven't heard it.
So the theory,
this will be our reaction.
the theory is that Michonne is actually seeing Rick, and she like Rick saw Lori, and she's cracking. And because, I mean, and you think about like how she did, Quin's face right now, how she did with like when we found her, like the loss of Andre and her husband, it broke her. And so for Michonne to be going through something similar that Rick went through, where he was seeing Lori and getting phone calls and stuff like that, the theory is RJ is not real. Because he only showed up when nobody was there.
No, that's why Magna wasn't.
Maybe Magna saw something else. And we just saw what Michonne saw. And so, like, I mean, maybe she just saw Michonne acting crazy or something and decided, hey, man, this woman's been through a lot or something. And but that's the only hole in the theory I can think of. But also, we got to think about when she shut the door and Judith is up on the steps, RJ's nowhere to be found.
And then he comes right down the hall.
And then as soon as Judith leaves, he comes back. So it's almost like a Fight Club thing where it's like, you know, they're never in the same room together at the same time. Because you would think that maybe Judith and RJ would interact if they're both awake.
And whatever the event was that happened that has all the communities separated, Michonne could have been pregnant and she got stabbed and then lost the baby in her mind at the same time.
Yep.
I'm done. I quit.
Yep, that's the theory. You nailed it. That's the theory. Is that the X on her back is a wound that caused her to lose the baby. And that's why she is like she is right now.
Tap, tap, tap. Is this thing on? I will literally murder every single person that had a part of that story if that is accurate. I just want you to know that.
Yeah.
I do not support this. I do not support any of it.
And think about it. Like, I mean, all this running around she's doing, like every time we saw Judith, there was a caretaker. There were other people around. They always made sure that we knew that Judith was being taken care of when Rick was running around doing his thing. She's running around doing all this stuff. We never once see RJ outside or anywhere else. Like,
but that's not to say that it doesn't happen.
That's
because, true. I mean, even when like Michonne rides the horse up and gets off, like we very like briefly see someone take the horse away. Like, there's not to say that it's not being taken care of or being done.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that.
It's a sound theory, but I don't believe it yet. I've got to have a little bit more evidence. We'll wait to see what next episode has for us. Before
Angela,
I can believe that.
Yeah, and Angela Kang has said that, you know, his name's Rick Jr. and all this stuff. But, yeah. So, I mean, and that could also play into that is like, you know, she's seeing the kid that they should have had.
And that's who she's talking to?
What that she's seeing that and talking to Rick and like, and it's like her psyche is
Carl's
is
just
broken.
sitting in a corner somewhere. This is
getting dark real quick.
really?
But like they have talked in length about like going back into the horror realm, and they're a horror series again. But I mean that could just be in reference to the Whisperers, but I mean this element kind of makes me excited. Like, it's interesting that this psychological element
But now I'm asking, so when she was training with Judith, who was watching RJ?
I mean, it could have been anybody.
It could have been anybody, because,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was there, I'm
There are
guessing.
tons of people in the community.
But she didn't even say, like, oh, crap, that baby's not real.
I think the theory broke Quin.
No, I like that baby was too cute to not be real. Like you trying to
Maybe
just
he
play
was
me
just
like
too
that
cute
and
to
have
be
me
real.
in there believing that she got that low cute baby. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the episode.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting, and I don't know if it's legit or if it's actually a thing. But I mean, even if the showrunner or whoever else said, "Oh, hey, yeah, RJ's totally real," that doesn't mean squat.
He
Right.
ran to her twice. Like, every time you see it, like, the 2 times we've seen him, he's in the
hungry,
kitchen,
yeah.
in the middle of the night, ran up to her, oh, RJ, hold him. In the hallway, Judith goes upstairs, runs up, oh, RJ, hold him. Same exact way.
But if you think about it, like he doesn't actually like he would have to be 6 years old, and he does not look 6.
That was another thing that somebody mentioned, was that his age is not
Son
really
of a
appropriate.
gun! Crap! No, why have you done this to me? I can't take another
I
heartbreak.
crashed the entire podcast with this theory.
Yeah, we actually can't continue.
It's not real.
So yeah, mommy.
Baby's
gonna-
not real.
Stop doing stuff like that.
Trying to be funny, it's not coming off right though. Anyway, so there's some serious trauma that has happened to Michonne, no matter the outcome, if the baby's real or not or whatever. Something serious happened, and it haunts the community. It haunts Michonne, and they keep referencing so much so that I think even Ezekiel was referencing it.
Yeah. Ezekiel was still like, we got to bring, when he was talking about the communities, them trying to get everybody back together like they were normal, like something had to
Something
happen.
big happened.
Yeah.
And for, like, if Michonne lost Rick's baby, that would be monumental.
It's Maggie's fault.
Bruh, if it was Maggie's fault, Lauren Cohan is dead to me. Like,
Just, I don't know about Lauren Cohan. Maggie could
No.
be dead.
who signs up for something that traumatic?
She doesn't really have a choice necessarily.
Yeah, she does. Maybe that's why she quit the show. Anyway, keep on going.
So then we get back to Carol. She navigates Henry beyond the hilltop. He recognizes, hey, we missed our turn back there. Kind of pulls a Daryl to Rick situation. Hey, it was back there. Then they get ambushed, but in a different way. It wasn't by Daryl. It was by the Saviors. And they pegged him a mile back. You know, help. And that must be why they're talking about Henry needing somebody, because he's hard up to be a hero for a damsel. He needs somebody.
Gonna get you
He's
killed in
got-
the apocalypse.
He's got a lot of love to give. So then we go back to Eugene and Rosita on the road. This brings our segment, Eugene Decoded, where he says 2 blinks of an armadillo's eye. I just want to say that I have no idea what that means. I Googled it and it's not a thing. Like, completely made that up.
Do they even have eyelids?
They,
Like,
I don't know, but they're also a little thing. Armadillos are notoriously blind. So does that mean I'm not doing very well? Is it supposed to be like 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, like Eugene's version?
Probably.
Yeah.
That is like the most Texas version of something I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So
It's like
fair.
that was reaching, but I think it made the point. But anyways, that was Eugene Decoded. So they come upon some fresh tracks headed east. A couple hundred walkers, they say, headed east, and he says, "Good thing the deed that gets done is west."
As he looks off into the distance at the water towers.
Yeah, that aren't completely superimposed there over the treetops. So then we go back to Magna and Luke visiting Yumiko. Her part was super easy in this episode. She just laid there basically, and
She had a couple lines at the end. She almost got punched.
oh yeah, at the very beginning too when they find him. So yeah, I had to rewatch it because I didn't realize, like, with her hair kind of fell over the rock that she hit her head on or whatever. It was a pretty big rock, which makes sense with her concussion and everything that Sadiq says she had. So Magna looks over. She sees Yumiko's necklace that's got the knife built in. Luke is quizzing Sadiq. Luke is apparently the mouthpiece for the group and is very well spoken, very eloquent, the artsy guy. He asked Sadiq how he got there and why it's different, and that I thought that was a nice callback, a nice way to show how things are different because last we saw they were still letting people in and Carl's vision and all this stuff, and Sadiq got Carl killed, and that still, I mean, that would have been an event you would think that would make them divert from the vision, but it pushed Rick over the edge of the opposite direction, and But anyways, says there, Sadiq says there's a reason for everything. Doesn't go into detail. So another kind of alluding to something big that happened. And then we go back to the Saviors pillaging Carol's wagon. No, that's not an innuendo. So there's another tomato. She just vomited in her mouth right now. So another tomato sighting, and I don't know that this has any other than just saying, hey, you know what, Carl's vision is just being commoditized or something. I don't know. I don't know how to read that into that.
Well, I mean, the guy who took all the tomatoes, he was the one that took a bite when Maggie had it. I just think it's just probably for him. Mm-hmm. Like every time you see him, tomatoes.
Yeah. So, hipster Jed, or as I like to call him, Dirty Uncle Jedsy.
That's funny. I thought the tomato thing, like, Carol took the tomatoes back.
She was delivering it to the... she's delivering the vision to the hilltop.
She's trying to reconnect them. She's trying to get back to the vision.
Oh, man, how did I miss that?
I don't know.
Oh, man, I need a high five for that one. That was pretty awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
My pleasure. He says they had Henry pegged. What's her name? I forget. The one with the pink hairdo. Said he...
Oh, I think you meant like the color. It took me a second to realize you were talking about the artist.
Oh, yeah. Formerly known as Pink.
No, not at all.
So, yeah, the Savior, formerly known as Pink, says that they had Henry pegged a few miles back. They ate the horses and didn't join the other community because it wasn't his bag, man.
Yeah, super weird.
Yeah, he's still got that stupid thing in his mouth. It's like,
no, that match came in handy.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like, I mean, that just makes me want to punch him in the face.
Makes me want to kill him. Thanks,
it's
Carol.
Like, it's not the 50s. Like, he's like talking about squares and what his bag is, and
like why in the world would he take her ring? Like, let me go pawn that.
Yeah, he fully. I mean, I guess
put
it's
it
been
on my pinky.
Yeah, I guess it's been long enough for him to forget how badass she is, and she will cut him to the quick.
So stupid.
He only did it because he felt like, I got the upper hand on you this time, since you literally beat my tail the last 2 times we done this.
Yeah, and I'm still gonna let you go just to show you how nice I am. Please don't come back and kill me.
I mean, I understood that it was a power trip, but it was stupid.
Yeah. So they ate the horses. That one just like,
it's really tough.
They're using walkers to pull their wagon.
Which was ingenuitive.
Yeah, which is actually
that's not
smart considering.
Not stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. So then Henry is not down with them taking the ring. Kind of fights back a little bit. They throw him on the ground. Carol gives up the ring to save Henry. And somebody mentioned that the new Carl stay in the house is Henry stay in the wagon. That's pretty funny. So then we go back to Judith, and she's getting help with her math homework from Negan. And he's really bad at math. I mean, it's one of those word problems. It's just like, if an airplane is traveling at this amount, and an airplane is, and he's like, are you really ever going to see an airplane anyway?
She's like, no, probably not.
Yeah. So then he decides, she says, "Hey, did you see the strangers, brought in, da da da?" And he tells her a really good story, useful story about stray dogs, and she completely throws it back in his face and was like, "Oh, did you, so what happened?" He's like, "Oh, I wised up and see how that worked out for you." And, and then he says, "Don't you want help?" And she said, "Just with math." And he said, "Well, why just with math?" And she said, "Well, because the numbers don't care if you're a good or bad person." So basically,
no good or bad on the inside.
Yeah, good or bad on the inside. So basically, she's just saying, "Look, I want help with something that doesn't require you to tell me what's good or bad." Like she's got him on lock. Like she's got him figured out. So far, anyways.
It still bothers me. Like there's something unsettling about it.
Yeah,
maybe
he's
it's
the creepy
because
man
he
that
murdered a lot of people.
Gutter.
Yeah. Maybe it's because they haven't explained like why they're taking such good care of him now.
Oh yeah, he's
maybe
all
that's
trim
why
and everything.
he's trim. He's obviously well fed, got time to fresh air, like things like that. So I think I'm just a little unsettled at all of that. That they need to explain it to me why, like what has changed.
Yeah, his good behavior or something. He's not banging his head on the walls anymore.
All right, so
comic book
Hit it with
reference?
it.
no, well, I mean, yes, because after the time skip, like Negan's still in there. He's just kind of like, "I'm here, and I'm gonna be here, and I'm happy that that you have to clean my poop bucket."
He's just accepted his fate, kind of.
Yeah, but
Or he's
with
Let the man talk.
but with everything that's gone on, I think it's a little bit that he's accepted his fate, as well as whatever happened. I'm pretty sure Alexandria got attacked again somehow, some way, and Negan got out and he actually helped whomever, but he's just kind of like, and then they were like, "But you still got to go back in there." He's like, "All right, that's fine."
I feel like that definitely could be a possibility, especially with the way, like, Michonne didn't storm out onto the porch step and was like, "What are you doing talking to Negan?" Like,
Yeah,
they
like it was
didn't make it
acceptable.
seem like anything was wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's just the creepy neighbor that talk, like he's like Wilson on Home Improvement. He's just talking through the fence. Just offering sage advice when necessary.
That's always mistranslated. It turns out poorly.
That's exactly who he is at this point. All right, so then we go back to Eugene on top of the tower, setting up the radio booster, and he sees a herd, or the herd, or whatever, approaching, and the horses run away. Apparently, they got these from the same flock, or is that a flock? Is that right?
No.
The same
it's a
herd as Rick's horse from last week. So they must be like related to Rick's horse from last week. They're the worst horses they run, and then Rosita gets the bag, and while she's packing the bag, Eugene tries to climb down and knocks the extension ladder down and decides, "Oh, I'm just going to make a jump for it," because obviously Rosita can't catch him, and he hurts.
Or she can't walk over and put the ladder back up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, he jumps down like an idiot because he's still Eugene, even despite him stepping up.
Yeah, the walkers were already on their way over there. Why did he just say, "Rosita, the ladder fell"? They're not going to move any faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some people were just like, "Hey, why don't he just stay up there until they pass?"
That's what I thought too. But then I understand that it is reactionary for the next scene where they hear them. You know, like it's
and also,
reason for that.
Yeah. Also, Rosita yelled, "Get down now!" So he's just like, "Yes, ma'am."
Just following
That
orders.
too.
Yeah.
And also,
So it's Rosita's fault.
He loves Rosita, so
He'll do
Yeah.
anything for
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Even cripple himself.
Yeah. So he jumps down, hurts his leg. Eugene decoded. He says the herd must have flipped a hardcore U on the DL. That just means that the herd turned around without their notice.
On the down low. I couldn't help but when he yelled my knee, it was so SpongeBob SquarePants, my leg. I could not help but hear it. I was just like, man alive.
What I love is knowing how Josh McDermott, who plays Eugene, is a comedian and always like seems to like placed his little bits of humor in this. So like I would not doubt for a second that he did that on purpose.
Probably.
And it's just like his own little Easter egg so that he can talk about it at the next conference or whatever. Like, yeah, totally SpongeBob right there or whatever. So then we get to Henry complaining to Carol. They're battening down the hatches for the night, climbing inside their little wagon that doubles as a tent. And Henry's complaining that Carol didn't fight back, but little does he know.
Like as he spots the ring later the next day.
Yeah.
Like he just sees it and he's like, dang, where'd she get that back from?
He's not asking questions.
Yeah, she's just like, it's almost like she's like at that point I was just like, oh man, Carol's got soft. And I even thought about it. Oh,
He said it out loud. He said, Carol's gone soft.
Yeah.
Dylan Law, let the record show, in the middle of the episode,
yeah.
said Carol's gone soft.
Yeah, because I just got to thinking about like even the long hair. Like the reason Carol kept her hair short is because like in the apocalypse you can be grabbed, and that's just like
Her hair was short because she was abused. And so, of course, she kept her hair short so that he couldn't grab it and beat the crap out of her.
Well, but it also carried over to being useful and practical in the apocalypse.
I agree, but it's not like she had long hair and then cut it for the apocalypse.
Right.
Like, it was already short.
No shortfall.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, but just her growing it out just speaks volumes of like where she's at,
Feeling safe.
mentally. Yeah, feeling safe. And so I mean, it's even like after Henry goes to bed, and she kind of has the moment where she's just like, and it was like I think that's the moment when she decided, oh, got to take care of business.
Prison style.
Yep. What is it? Karen and David style. So then we go back to Magna and their group, and they're in the room for the night, and they call her out, having Yumiko's knife and Yumiko's necklace and the knife in her belt and everything, and she has some pushback. She is a lot like Rick, where she was just like, hey, I just wanted to be have
Give us
options.
some options.
Yeah. And they vote not to fight, which had that been Rick's group, like they would all died. Like that would have been like, oh yeah, you're the one that got us killed.
Except that she went to go defy the vote and then realized that they were right.
Yeah. So
Or maybe
apparently-
just realized that Michonne was crazier than her. Depends.
Yeah, we'll see. But also, apparently everybody in the apocalypse sleeps very heavily now. Because then we go back to Carol visiting the Saviors, and there's nobody on watch. They're just like openly sleeping in this little broke down building or whatever. Full bellies, just like, oh man, we just ate good. And she's dumping gasoline on top of them. Nobody wakes up until she snatches the match. And he's like, wait, whoa, that's my match. And, well, we won't bother you again. You'll never see us again. Oh, I know.
Can you
honey.
Dan?
Yeah, so no flowers necessary.
Maybe they were dreaming of flowers. We don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe she hypnotized them before, and that's why they're sleeping so heavy. We don't know. The match was the snap. I don't know.
So yeah, I mean that was just, huge moment. That was amazing. She totally went Daenerys on him.
Oh yeah, when she set all the cows on fire. Calls.
Khal Drogo. Yeah, Khal.
Okay, call.
Yeah, cows.
I didn't know what you were talking about, to be honest. I was really confused for a second there with the cows and calls.
Oh, do you get it now though?
Yeah.
Okay.
She just tumped over the dealie. So then we go back to Magna. Decides for whatever reason, it's just stupid, that she's going to threaten Michonne with a toothpick of a knife. She's just going to sneak in, and then she sees RJ, or maybe potentially sees RJ. She sees Michonne, who thinks or is with RJ. I don't know. So anyway, she changes her mind, turns the knife in, and then Judith just like lays some wisdom, sitting up there like Carl, with the gun on the steps.
Scroll man Judith right there.
Yeah.
Roman, dude.
Like she's just like a sage. She's definitely a Jedi. So yeah, she's sitting on the stairs with Rick's revolver, and Michonne's like, whoa, what do you got that for? Well, Daddy wanted me to have it. She's like, okay, I'll just give the 10-year-old the gun.
Well, no, she has the gun. Like, she's had it on her holster. Like, that's what she killed the walkers and saved the group with.
Yeah, that's true.
To me, Michonne was like, why do you have that right now?
Oh, gotcha.
Like, what do you have that for that, like, you think that I can't protect us from Magna?
Oh, yeah. She's like, I got your back, Mama.
Yeah, like, why are you holding a gun to the people you brought here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, real quick, while since I meant to say this way earlier, but like all the blended families that are going on right now.
They all refer to them as Mom and Dad. Like,
yeah. It's so
Jesus,
sweet.
like, okay, Mom. Like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then Gracie with Aaron.
Yeah. Super sweet.
Oh yeah, that's all super sweet. That's all. The Apocalypse have brought them all together, and they made new families. It's so sweet.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I've got something to say about Daryl about that later.
Me too.
So I mean, Judith completely sets Michonne up. It's like, I can't hear the voices anymore, Mama. I hope you still can. Boom. Here's the toy. Walk away. Like she pulled Michonne's own device on her.
Dang, and that does, like, literally RJ walks up at the next second.
Mm-hmm.
And dang, because then it's like, that is her personification
and then she's
of their
holding
voice.
him so tightly. Just like that's what she's needing right now.
Wonder if he has a shadow.
A shadow?
Yeah.
Like that
Like
would be
if
if he's real or not. Yeah, it's too dark to tell.
Yeah.
Oh, quit. I can't. I'm going to go back and watch this when I go home.
I'm going to have to, too. I always say that, and I never do, but I might actually this time.
Yeah, so #Sage Jedi. Judith really lands a truth bomb.
For those of you who don't know what he's referring to, she played young Rey in The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he keeps saying Jedi.
Yeah.
That's the same actress.
Yeah.
But she had training, so she just can't walk up and pull brooms off of walls. That's a whole nother thing. Right. Another day. Another day.
Talking to you, Ryan Johnson. So, anyways, okay. So then we go back to Eugene volunteering. They're running. Apparently, they've been running for a while. Eugene is just like broke down. He's crying at this point. So, I don't know if this is just hardened Eugene being broken, or just Eugene being Eugene. And maybe it's only a couple feet from the last time we saw him, or maybe it's a couple miles. I don't know. But he volunteers to sacrifice himself to the walkers so Rosita can get away.
That's true love right there. Like, he has not sacrificed himself for anyone else.
He saved Tara that one time when they were like, remember
Tara's. I don't even remember Tara. Where'd Tara? She go off to Oceanside, get her.
She might be at Oceanside. She might be at Hilltop.
With all the ladies.
She's probably at Hilltop with Maggie, I would think.
No, she probably at Oceanside.
Oh, I got you. I smell what you're cooking.
I'm just saying. She probably there.
Huh.
Yeah.
She's
so I mean, Eugene did save Tara that one time. Remember, he threw over his shoulder and got her out of the building when she had the head wound or whatever. It was the same time that Chris. I forget the dude. I keep forgetting the dude's name. Everybody hates Chris. It was the same time that he died.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so Eugene has obviously changed. And
he did take the RV, kind of like mentally sacrificing himself when Maggie was sick and Abraham died and Glenn died. You know, like, do you remember when he took the episode that Glenn and Abraham get killed by Negan and Maggie is sick? He goes as a diversion and takes the RV, remember?
Oh.
And like he thought he was going to die. So I guess mentally, like, he has sacrificed himself.
Yeah. So then we get Eugene decoded again. He's worked up the testicular gravitas and decides, I love this stuff. He decides that it's a good time to confess his love for Rosita. And of course, in true Rosita fashion, she is back, tells him to shut up and don't get weird.
I loved that. That was pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah, I want while they're doing spin-off movies, I want to see the Abraham, Rosita, Eugene road trip special.
Oh, That'd be fun.
Fair.
And
That would be so much fun.
That'd be easily doable, especially right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they're coming from Texas before they meet our group.
Yeah.
On their way when he's still
Michael
a scientist.
Cutlass is busy. He's got a new show right now. The Kids Are All Right is what it's called. We haven't started it yet, but I'm super interested to watch it. So Michael Cutlass is a little tied up right now.
And Michael Cutlass isn't too busy because he shadowed episode 4 and he came back to direct episode 7, which is next episode.
What?
So
No, like it just literally clicked with me that like that's the next step. When you said the next episode, I didn't realize. So that was a true reaction. That wasn't fake. Like I had like literally pieced it together
Thanks, babe.
in my head. I'm dramatic like that in real life.
So then we cut to Carol and Henry going off-roading, looking for Daryl, or they find Daryl. And Carol just lights up, "Hey, stranger," and we get another little grin from Daryl.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to see that they're like still connecting, and she's happy to see that he's alive. She didn't walk up on his walkered body. Like, she can have a reason to be happy without it having any double entendre, even though I would like it to.
Yeah, it's like how many times does she go venturing out there? I wonder.
she knew exactly where he was.
Like they're having an
Maybe
affair
that's why
in
she's
the apocalypse.
so happy in the
that's already been
apocalypse.
done.
Yeah.
Carol's having her cake and eating it too.
Yeah, this time she brought Henry. Oh, that's weird.
No.
Oh, I did not mean that.
No.
I did not mean that the way it came out. I'm so sorry for that. This is not Game of Thrones.
Please cut that. If there's anything you can do for us.
So anyway, I'm just going to get back into it.
Please
so
do.
that's what she said. Oh my God, what is wrong with me right now? That's so bad.
You don't get to be Michael Scott. Stop.
All right, so then we get back into it. Daryl, she asks him if he needs a ride, and of course he goes towards it. But then a little missable detail is Daryl has a hatchet in his backpack. Is that Rick's hatchet, I wonder, that he's found out there in the woods?
Probably. I mean, we didn't see what everybody did after.
Yeah, I mean,
Rick,
it's very possible that he left it on the bridge, or that
Yeah,
it was
that he
close
found
to the
it
bridge,
when
and he
he's
found
looking
it.
for Rick.
So, yeah, like the last scene we saw of the actual episode where Rick leaves, everybody was screaming and crying, and Daryl walked away, and then we know what happens to Rick, but we don't know what everybody else did afterwards.
Right.
And that could potentially be like a sign for them that they found it and it wasn't destroyed, that
Blown to
maybe
bits.
Rick could have survived, you know?
Yeah.
It's very possible. About that, I just want to say that everybody has nice clothes, nice shoes, all of these things, but poor Daryl can't find a decent tent roof. Got holes in the top of his tent.
He don't care.
Can't even get a tarp that shields him from the rain or whatever might happen. But Rosita's got a new pair of sweatpants every time the show airs. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Could y'all get him a decent tent?
It's
Y'all
fine,
are
it ain't
inventing
wintertime
and
out
like
here.
weaving and building all these things. Like, he's just gonna be out here chilling. Like, oh, that's my starscape. That's how I
Yeah, you'd think-
stargaze.
You would think Carol would be bringing him goodies. Like,
Yeah.
wah,
Not
wah.
my goodies.
Carol's cookies.
Oh, no. Too far. Rein it back in.
So then we go back to Michonne, and she's changing her clothes, and there's this huge ominous X scar.
She's changing into Rick's clothes. Like,
Yeah.
she put on one of Rick's shirts.
Yeah,
Which was a very big detail.
Yeah. And yeah, just the way she did it, she was obvious. I love how they did it because there was no words, no nothing, but it spoke volumes about where she was mentally, and she was considering what Judith said, and then she goes out, and I mean that was just a beautiful scene to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that might be a reoccurring thing. Like when she makes very sound and Rickish decisions, she's probably gonna have something of his on her.
Fair.
Yeah. So yeah. This is we talked about the X scar, the event that they've been teasing potentially, or where she lost a baby or whatever. But obviously something, or maybe if it's not that, then potentially, she was ambushed by someone she trusted, or maybe that's her, like in reference to how she knows about Magna's prison tats, because she connects with Magna about, we've all done crazy, horrible things. Maybe that has some. I don't know if it was there before. I don't think it was. So it wasn't from her past life. So
I don't know. It seemed so like it's an X. Like it's not like somebody
So perfect,
stabbed her.
yeah.
Like it's an X. Like it almost to me looked like a brand.
yeah, like pirate, like Jack Sparrow. Remember, doesn't he have like an X or something on his?
It's a P.
It's a P. Okay.
P for pirate,
Yeah,
not an X. You're thinking of the treasure portion of that story.
maybe. Yeah. So, anyways, she changes her mind, goes out to meet the new group before they leave. Tells them that her and Sadiq will escort them to the hilltop and try to convince the leader to let them stay. So, I mean, that to me felt a little contrived. I mean, because they're obviously trying to bring the story. Everybody meets up at the hilltop, and that's probably where the whisper, all that's going to take place. But it seemed a little contrived. It was like, oh, I changed my mind. You can stay, but not here.
Does no one else find it important that Carol, Daryl, and Michonne will all be at the hilltop?
Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying. Is like
They'll all be
everybody's
there.
coming to the hilltop. Like they're all converging. But this, like the Carol Daryl or the Carol swinging by to get Daryl, that didn't feel contrived. The Carol going out with Henry, that didn't feel contrived. But this part to me felt like it was a little forced. Because why wouldn't she just let them stay there? Because obviously they've got ex-saviors there, and even have a barcode up on the council with them. And so, like somebody wrote in the Twitter comments that she was, or maybe it was on Reddit, that she probably represents, like she's on the council because they, as a peace offering, to show the saviors that, hey, you have a voice.
You can conform. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like, it very well possibly could have something to do with just plain old numbers. Like, one, they might not have room at Alexandria, and two, like, the hilltop might need good laborers, like, just people.
Yeah.
Like, they might just
I
need
don't
the
know.
numbers.
I mean, Hilltop's got it together. They've got the blacksmith. Like they were the ones that were ahead of everybody.
They've got an
Yeah,
old and
Jesus.
decrepit blacksmith who's probably well
Yeah.
on his way to dying.
Yeah, he was old 6 years ago.
Yeah.
True that.
And
But
we just
also-
don't know what else is there.
It just seemed petty for Michonne to do that. It was like, I'm going to change my mind, but I'm still going to have it my way.
But they would have had to revote. Like, it's not that Michonne said, no, you can't stay here. Like, they ended up voting that they couldn't stay. Like, that is how I took it, because, like, her vote doesn't weigh more than theirs. Like, after the prison thing, like, they voted no.
Okay.
So she's like, hey, we've got another option, though. Like, you can't stay here. We voted no.
It's like her way of saying, you know what, this is my fault. I'm going to try to help.
Yeah,
fix it.
like, hey, we might
Okay.
can have another
Okay,
option.
I could see that. Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense. I'm
Like,
down with
those
that.
families there are not comfortable with an ex-con living there.
Even though
They've
it's
got
been
ex-saviors.
Even though it's been a decade. Like, we
Yeah.
don't know what hard choices she's had to make, though.
True. All right. So, and she also says, "I'll convince her that you can stay." So, what do you guys think? I mean, obviously, Lauren Cohan's character, Maggie, is gone. Like,
Enid. It's Enid.
is it Enid or is it Tara?
Enid. It's definitely Enid.
Tara?
She thinks it's Enid. If you didn't notice,
It's Enid.
Okay. I will.
I wonder. Do
Tara's
they?
at Oceanside.
You think so? I would think that,
Where
I would think that, except that one of the Walker Stalker podcast had Alana Masterson on, and she said that she alluded that she might be at the hilltop too. And to me, that kind of made sense because Glenn was the one that saved her, But Oceanside still makes a lot of sense too.
Because they saved her. She got them in all that trouble. She
Yeah.
got them involved.
Yeah, except that she might not have been down with. Well, I don't know, because she was down with executing the saviors before
She
it was
straight
cool.
up was.
Yeah.
Dwight killed. What's her face?
Yeah, she was straight up going to kill Dwight, but then she changed her mind, so maybe she
Only
wouldn't have
because
been,
he saved her.
that. Yeah, that's true.
Time heals all wounds.
Mm-hmm.
But
She at Oceanside.
It's either Tara or Enid. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they have a council, or is it still a?
No, it's a monarchy.
Well, I don't know, because to me, like,
authoritarian.
Enid seemed pretty well balanced. And I could see how her and Jesus make up a council and stuff like that. Like, I could see one, and especially Aaron seemed like he was a hilltopper, being out there with Daryl and Jesus.
Except he's on the Alexandria council.
Yeah, like he lives there. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. But maybe he works on both.
Maybe.
I think right now, probably the only person from Hilltop that, like, convenes with everybody on a regular basis might be Jesus.
Alden, we haven't seen him. We don't know that
maybe,
he's dead. Maybe it's him
Enid
and
Al-
Jesus
maybe
and
Enid and Alden got together.
It's very possible. I feel like it could be a well-balanced thing. I think it's Enid.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they're talking about having saviors as completely mingled into the groups now, then it would make sense that Alden, of all people,
Was one. Yeah.
was in leadership.
Because we didn't see him die, and he had become like a pretty well-known B character. Like,
Yeah, I would hate to see Alden die, even though, like Jed said, he took care of him. I'm not sure what that means, but
Punched him in
hopefully
the
it
mouth.
doesn't mean that he killed him.
Punched him in the mouth.
I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right.
All right, so then we go back to Eugene and Rosita, and we get the entire scene that we've seen played out multiple times in the teasers, where they ditch the Walkers Predator style, go up literally in a ditch, and cover themselves in mud. Terrified, discover that they can talk. I mean, I love Eugene's reaction, like when they start talking. He's like,
I love
just
Rosita's.
looks over his shoulder and just like, oh yeah, Rosita.
Like, she didn't cover her mouth. Like,
Yeah.
she reacted very strongly.
I'm sorry. I still haven't figured out why Eugene
that
thought it was
big
good. Big old clump of mud on his
Yeah.
eyeball.
Yeah.
It just looked like somebody took a
Which
dump
she
on his
was,
eye.
like, shoveling stuff up there.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, maybe it just flew and hit him. He was like, it'll stick.
A bit hilarious. He's just like, this is terrifying.
He probably will say something about it next episode. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so
Look, I'm Gabriel. Now you'll love me.
maybe that was an Easter egg, just like, hey, the transition. But so obviously the walkers are different now, and they're no longer just walkers. So I guess we could just call them walkie-talkies. Yeah, I stole that joke too.
Yeah.
But they're obviously the whisperers. Like like we said before, it would be nice to see a little change in the biology of the virus, where it's adapted after this long. But I would be interested for a little bit.
No, I would absolutely not. I think that's...
It gets too sci-fi on them.
No, it gets too... Well, I don't know. Anyway.
As long as they don't grow tentacles.
Yeah, they start turning into oceanside walkers. Like Dave.
I'm gonna let you struggle.
Dave's
Keep going.
From Pirates of the Caribbean, the guy with the tentacles.
Davey.
Davy Jones
Dave Jones. Nice to meet you.
from the Monkees. Davy Jones. Now we're done splicing up the episode. We're going to talk about what's next upcoming and some speculation. We already said that Michael Cudlitz, who played Abraham Shadowed, episode 4, is coming back to direct episode, or he already came back to direct episode 7, which is next episode. We get to see Abraham come back in a little way.
Very neat.
And so there's also only 2 episodes left this year before we go into the break, and then they'll be back sometime, usually around end of January, February-ish, Valentine's Day, somewhere around there. And because it's like we always start The Walking Dead, like, because the anniversary of our first date was Halloween, so we usually start The Walking Dead around then, and then we're always trying to schedule a date when it comes back to around Valentine's Day. So, anyways.
Aww.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just going to run through these teasers. All right, so here are some of the old ones I mentioned last week. Daryl says there's a storm coming. Jesus, Aaron, and Daryl watch the walkers. They say they've never seen them milling around like this before. Daryl has a dog. Aaron runs from the walkers in the woods as Eugene gives a voiceover saying the walkers are evolving in a very scared way. Michonne hastily leads the newcomers, Sadiq and one of the former saviors, somewhere. They're like running in a group around a corner. Michonne pulls her sword, and the ex-savior is carrying a big purple bag. That either I don't know if they're running from something or escaping. It looks like they're escaping, like they're running from something to me.
Like the long-haired savior? He went with them?
The one that's always with Sadiq.
So are...
The gray-haired one.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah. And then we get Daryl looking out over something like he's on side of a building or something. He's scared or puzzled and awe. It's probably the whispers he's seeing, like speak for the first time or something. Something that throws Daryl off. Then we see Negan toss a ball out of his cell. He's playing ball with somebody. Somebody's, I don't know if it's Judith, but somebody's allowed down there and is playing with him. Maybe RJ. I don't know. Rosita runs away from something. Her head is bleeding. So then we see Kelly kill the walker with a slingshot, which is the perfect weapon because anything could be ammo.
Yeah.
And the walkers are
and
so
it
soft.
Makes not a lot of noise.
Yeah.
No,
It's like, why haven't we seen that until now? So then we see Jesus like a ninja slaying walkers in the dark.
Darkers in the walk.
Yeah. All right. So then the new teaser that we got at the end of the episode, we see a little more of the Rosita running through the woods with a head injury. She looks like she's alone, and there's a faint little bit of whispers, just like, where is she type thing almost. But she looks alone. So where is Eugene?
Separated.
Well, to me, in the scene where Eugene is telling them that they have evolved, he looks alone, and he looks like he's down on his knees, like he's been captured. Originally, last episode, I thought it was going to be those saviors that Carol and Henry ran into, but obviously it's not them. So I don't know if maybe there's another branch or something like that, because he looks like they got separated at that point, and he's alone down on his knees there. And
in the comics, doesn't someone get captured by the Whisperers?
Yeah, it is Luke, but it's kind of
he does.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, I really hope that they don't change remix Luke with Eugene.
I hope they don't either, because I kind of just want.
Yeah, because there's so many.
He does kind of talk a lot.
Yeah, and there's so many heads are gonna roll. Favorite characters coming up. So man, this
It's gonna be looking like Infinity Wars.
Yeah, we thought that Negan was bad. Just wait. So yeah, then we get.
That? What was that laugh? I'm sorry for everyone that heard that.
What's that thing that does it? There's like a cartoon that sounds like that.
Huh?
I don't know.
Oh, I must have missed it because I was reading. My bad.
It's okay.
Then we get Michonne and Sadiq. Oh, wait, I saw that. Oh, yeah. Michonne and Sadiq are leading the new group down the road. Sadiq tells Michonne, you like these guys. And in a voiceover, she says, it doesn't mean I trust them. And we get a shot of her in a different environment. It's like in a field or something. And she's like, she always looks like she's madly surveying something here lately. So she's in a field madly surveying something. I don't know what else to call it. I would say looking suspicious, but she's looking suspiciously at something. She's suspicious of something, which I guess that's her MOD now. Anyway, okay. And then we get Aaron and Jesus are out, and it looks like the same scene where they were talking before. What was that scene? Oh, no. It wasn't the same scene. It was probably close to the same scene. But anyways, it was they were like on a wagon or something. They see the flare go off. It looks like that's them seeing the flare go off. It might just be a play on editing. Then we get, it looks like Henry sitting up in bed. I don't know what that's about. I guess some filler stuff. Michonne creeping through a dark room. Couple kingdom people. It looks like kingdom people riding on horses with spears, like down a little hill on a road on a hill. Then we get Daryl killing some walkers with a hatchet, potentially Rick's hatchet. Another scene of Carol drawing her bow in the dark in the woods. She's kind of hiding behind some leaves or something. She almost like kind of flinches with a leaf in her face. It's kind of funny, actually. Then we get a scene of some walkers / whisperers amongst some old cars. And then Sadiq running through some old cars with a gun in his hand. He's running. It looks like he's running towards somebody to me. Looks like the same location, though. Like he's running to save somebody. It doesn't look like he's running away from somebody because he's got his gun and everything. He didn't look scared. But anyways, and then we see on the road, Connie, they're on the wagon still going to the hilltop. And she looks out in the woods and we get a voiceover of Michonne saying, "What is it?"
Which seems silly. Asking a deaf woman, what is it?
Oh.
Like, when she's obviously not looking at her.
Yeah.
I have one comment about all of that, and I lost it, but that's okay. Oh, no. I thought it was really... It's got to hold some significance that they're out in the dark, and so many scenes were in the dark this time, where even inside Alexandria, when they're talking about voting, they say it's almost dark soon, so we'll do it tomorrow. Like, they obviously do not go out at night.
Oh.
So something has happened to prevent them from going back or being in a safe place.
Gargoyles.
Like, other than Carol and Henry having to travel overnight, which it's obviously a long journey to the hilltop. It's overnight. It doesn't seem like they travel at night, and so I think that something happened to prevent them from going home.
Yeah. The event or something.
An event, yeah, for sure. Maybe this is all backflashes.
Yeah, flashbacks.
Yeah, whatever. I like backflashes better.
Yeah.
That's okay, though. All right.
There's a new scene also that AMC posted on YouTube that shows Carol and Henry visiting Daryl, and this might be the sneak peek that they showed on The Talking Dead. So he's got the dog and he's got a boat, and they're on the river. And Carol asks him if he's fixed the boat since last time, and then she also asks him, when was the last time you ate? And he said, well, the dog ate. And he picks up like what's left over of a walker hand and kind of tosses it off somewhere. So he's feeding the dog walkers, apparently. And he says, well, the dog ate. And she said, well, I was talking about you. And he doesn't answer. So, I mean, to me, it seems like there's a lot to glean from that. Like, potentially, he's on the river and he's got a boat. I think he's still out looking for Rick's body. And, yeah. And that's why he's like so focused. He's not eating. He's not there. He's gone back to old Daryl. He's looking for his brother, though.
Probably a little depressed, though, too.
Yeah.
So, I hadn't found nothing in 6 years. Not even a walker,
Yeah.
a shoe.
But he won't give up because of Michonne. And
Because of Merle. He thought Merle was dead that whole time, and then Merle comes back with a new hand, and he's like, what the heck? My brother is still alive. I've been alive this whole time.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Dang, dude. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Of course he would hold out hope.
Yeah. And that also makes sense. I mean, that helps my way of thinking about Daryl. It's like he was Uncle Daryl to Judith, and for him to not be there helping Michonne raise Rick's babies, that to me seems like a pretty dick move. So why would he not be there, Uncle Daryl be there to help Michonne in Rick's absence? But this makes sense that he's out there for them trying to find their daddy. Like that changes my perspective on it.
He got a boat, but not a tent with no holes.
Well, I guess every time he gets a good sheet of material, he uses it as a sail or something. I don't know, because that's more important.
Or as whatever he was wearing in the water. Like, that seemed a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And he's got this hood he's wearing has like 2 rows of snaps on it. It's like, I was looking
Maybe
at
that is the tent.
Oh, maybe it's like double. I was wondering. I was like, what do all these snaps go to? It's like it just holds more.
It seemed very Morgan-esque to me. Like very caped, very... He had the stick that he broke in half to stab the walker.
Oh, yeah.
Seemed very Morgan to me.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Rick.
That's a very, very good
which is how Morgan found Rick. Was through Daryl. He shows them the map, and it's got his name on it, and that's how he connects the dots. So maybe Morgan ends up connecting the dots for Rick.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, speaking of, where is Morgan?
I was about to ask that.
Well, if we watched Fear the Walking Dead, we would probably know.
Well, I mean, 6 years later.
It's a 6-year time skip, so where are they?
Oh, he's in L.A. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
It was in Texas. Also, there's another teaser, because with the AMC premiere, you can get like the first few minutes of the next episode as part of that deal or whatever. Somebody actually, I think, posted it, and it shows, or maybe it's another teaser or something, but it's not on AMC's YouTube site. But it shows at night, Carol and Henry and Daryl are like at camp or something, and they hear these, like a dog barking. They hear the dog barking, and they go and they rescue the dog from walkers. But what's interesting is that, like, in this little gap of trees, the walkers are all tied up where they can't get to the dog, but the dog is tied up in the middle, so it looks like a trap.
That was the teaser that The Talking Dead showed.
Was it?
Yeah, because I watched that.
Oh, okay.
Because remember I said, oh man, all we saw was Daryl and his new dog.
Oh, okay.
It didn't show anything else.
Yeah, that's where that came from.
Yeah, earlier you said something about being the teaser that was on The Talking Dead. I was like, that was not the teaser.
Yeah, so that was apparently a new teaser for him, AMC, the other one. So
it looks like the dog is bait.
Yeah, it looks like the dog is bait. So I mean, who set that up, and what's going on with that? I wonder. And he
maybe
rescues
it's
the
not
dog.
Bait. Well, bait to a certain extent so that someone can escape, and all the walkers are being attracted to the dog barking.
Maybe. I was thinking that, like, bait in the way that the Savior's set up for Henry, the dog barking, somebody comes to rescue the dog. Because, I mean, how many dogs do you come across in the apocalypse? Apparently not many.
2.
The one that they ate and this one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Daryl's not going. That's why he's keeping the dog around.
In case Rick gets hungry. He finds Rick, and Rick's super hungry. It's like,
Yeah.
I brought you a dog.
Yeah. Poor Daryl. He needs a companion. Like, a dog is a perfect companion for Daryl.
Maybe he's using the dog to, like, make sure. Because, like, dog, sees walkers, going to start barking. Other walkers come in there. He goes in there, kills all those walkers, then let the dog out, and now you don't have walkers around for a little bit.
Yeah, plus there's a practical usage where you try and use search and rescue.
That's what I was thinking, too.
Yeah. And speaking of another practical usage, with sign language, I really hope that the show uses sign language, because that could be very practical for when they're out in the field, trying to be quiet, and they could use sign language. And that would be great if the show just really went with that. The thing I was going to say about Heath, Angela Kang kind of alluded that, I didn't say exactly, but somebody asked her if we're meant to believe that Jadis traded Heath, and that's where Heath went. And she said something to the effect about, we were kind of hoping that people would kind of pick up on that or something.
What?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in reality, it had to do with Corey. I forget his last name. The guy that played Heath. His scheduling. He had a new show coming up, a new movie.
Oh, because he's on This Is Us.
No. That's a different guy. He was on the new 24. Oh. And it ended up getting canceled. But he was also in Straight Outta Compton.
Oh yeah.
Like Dre.
I'm super thinking of a different guy. Mm-hmm. That's okay though.
Yeah, I see his face, but I can't think of his name right now.
It doesn't matter.
He's in a lot of stuff now.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, anyways, is there anything else you guys want to add as far as speculation on what's coming up? Mm-mm. Quin looks like he's marinating on something.
Oh, please don't let this baby be fake.
Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah.
If this baby's fake, I don't know how I'm going to feel.
Yeah, I'm going to be pretty upset.
Yeah.
But that's quality TV right there at the same time. Like, I would be upset, but it'd be pretty legit.
Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones. Like, you get done watching, it's like, I'm done with this show. And then you're just like, oh, I love this show so much.
It's like, please don't end. Please come back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Negan get out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give Negan a pardon.
Yep. He ends up helping with the Whisperers, right?
Yep.
And they're
So-
really going to need him now with Rick being gone. That just makes more sense.
I wonder if he got his bat back.
I hope not.
There's no way.
And Angela Kang even said that Michonne could have been lying about where that if she knew the location of Lucille.
Oh, no, it's in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like-
at this point, it was like, why would they still even have Lucille? Because if they gave it back, like, I think that could be detrimental to Negan.
I feel like when it comes to the Whispers, depend on how they do them. If they do them just like the comic books, you're going to need a little crazy Negan. But if they do them in either direction, either less of what they are or 1,000 times more because it's visual and they can, amplify everything that they do, give him his bat, let Negan go to war.
But I mean, even if they give him another weapon, like he's just gonna name it Lucille and treat it the same way that he treated the bat.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel at this point he's had time to move on, and that would cause him to relapse.
That's fine.
I don't know. I think that would be bad for the community. That would be bad for everybody but
No
Negan.
one said he had to stay after it's all done. I mean,
Then they
Michonne-
really will kill him.
Yeah, Michonne could be like after everything's done, Negan be having a monologue and like waving Lucille around, and he'll be like, "It's time for you little pigs to let me back in." And then Michonne, takes his head off. And
Yeah.
there we go.
Or they just
I
call
wouldn't be
Maggie.
mad.
That's why Maggie comes back.
That's our 6th episode.
Just in time.
All right.
Mark you down for that. All right, so I think that's it for us. I appreciate you guys listening throughout it. There was a lot to discuss. This was another monumental, huge episode. So appreciate you guys sticking around. Those that did, those that didn't, that's your loss. But all right, so whatever you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, appreciate you watching and listening in podcast form. What?
Before we continue, next week I will not be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be out of town. We're going to see all my family in a little itty bitty town in the middle of nowhere. So next week it'll just be you guys.
Yeah, next week is Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving or whatever holiday that equivalates to this wherever you are.
Yeah, they probably don't have a holiday.
Oh.
Just Thursday for them next week.
Okay. Well, eat turkey.
We don't even eat turkey.
Turkey lurk do.
Oh, well, somebody has a pig. Eat a pig.
Unless you don't eat pig. That's okay too.
Yeah, eat
Oh,
some
jeez.
tofu.
Just eat food.
Be healthy.
Yeah, eat, drink, and be merry.
That's the next holiday coming up.
Yeah, merry. Don't be merry. Be yourself.
Okay, we're gonna do the outro now.
Yeah. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in once again, especially in the podcast or on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're listening or watching. And check out the website. That's www.broken.pictures.com. And you can see us on social media. Yeah, Facebook, Broken Pictures Social, or Instagram and Twitter, Broken_Social. Patreon, it'll be Broken Pictures. And then, more importantly, though, if you would like, share, subscribe, rate, and review in whatever format you're getting this content on. And just one little drop, we have this poster behind me on our website. If you go to www.broken.pictures/store, you can see some of our shirts and posters available there, and you can pick those up at the store if you're interested in that. So, thank you once again. This is Dylan.
And I'm Lydia.
My name's Negan. No, I'm Quin.
And we'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.
Bye.